man, welcome to the Pivot CC, man. Congratulations on the Hall of Fame. This is Fred Taylor. This is Channing Crowder. I'm Ryan Clark, Pivot fam. Thank you for pivoting with us. Man, first of all, congratulations. Just an illustrious career, man. 19 seasons, Cy Young winner, World Series champion, 6-time All-Stars. Shoot, 3,000 strikeouts, 250 games won. Just so many milestones that you were able to accomplish throughout your career, which obviously lands you in Cooperstown. Bro, being a kid from Vallejo, California, man, when Jack O'Connell from the Baseball Writers Association calls you and tells you you be headed to Cooperstown, what was your first thought?
My real first thought was my dad being super happy. My dad was the one who started me playing baseball. He was a coach before I was born, so he was determined to make me an athlete, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I just feel like I lived up to what I was supposed to for him. I felt like that when I first made it to the big leagues, and then I felt like that when I played for the Yankees, and then I got that feeling again, you know, when I got the call to the Hall of Fame, and it was just a real feeling, you know, like you said, being from Vallejo, and the odds of me making it to Cooperstown from there are slim to none. And I think Pedro said it best first. He said, if a kid like me can make it, or a kid like him can make it from the DR, from Vallejo, then anybody literally can make it to the Hall of Fame, and that's how I feel.
But anybody can't make it to the Hall of Fame. I ain't even we be pointing in the next question, bro. No. It's something special. It's something about you, bro. We all watched you. Like, you know what I'm saying? There was something that you did different. There was something that your dad did different. There was something that made you be on the show. Like, to go to the Hall of Fame. What was that when you look back now in retrospect? Little CC, and what building up, you know, and being the guy that you are now, a Hall of Famer.
I think just being able to go through adversity, I think just being able to keep going forward, you know, no matter what was happening off the field, in my life, as a kid, whatever, when I got onto the baseball field or the football field or basketball, like that was where I knew what, you know, I could predict the outcome most of the time, especially if I'm on the mound. From the time that I was like 9 years old, I figured out, I was like, oh, this all starts and stops on me. Like, I'm in control of everything. And like, me being the only child and wanting everybody's attention, like, that's a perfect spot for me to be in the middle of the diamond, you know what I'm saying? So once I figured that out, I just kind of like, just gravitated towards that. And I loved being in those big moments, whether I failed or succeeded, I just wanted to be out there. And that was the way I could perform. You know, if you ever hear like comedians performing in front of their family or rappers performing in front of their family in the living room, that was like my performance. Like all my family was there, all my parents were there, all that stuff. And that was the way I felt like I could perform as a kid.
Right. First off, happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Perfect birthday gift, right? But no, I heard you delayed knee surgery.
Yeah.
So you can walk across the stage, right? What does that walk represent for you, and who are you doing it for?
I think the walk represents, for me, I feel like Vallejo, like my hometown, is so rich in like talent and sports history. And like when I was a kid, I only wanted to be just the best for my hometown. Like I went to the high school games as a kid, and I was the ball boy for the football team and all these different things. Like I wanted to be that guy, and to be able to walk across the stage and say I'm from Vallejo, it just, you know, feel like I'll represent the city and all the talent that comes from that city. And I delayed the knee surgery more for golf than...
He said, I'm gonna get this knee surgery when it get cold.
Man, who the fuck get knee surgery in the middle of the summertime? That shit don't make no sense.
That's what old rich guys do.
Yeah,
they play golf a lot.
Yeah, we don't do that. You know, you mentioned your father right away. And I thought that was extremely telling, just based on what he did to get you here in your career. But also, he passed when you were relatively young, you know, being 23 years old. And I read somewhere you said you don't feel like you processed it right away. Do you feel like moving forward now you've processed that to a place where now in sharing this moment with him or thinking about him in this moment, you can think about the good things?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you said it perfectly. I never processed him passing away at 23 years old. My oldest son's 21 now. He was just born at the time. And it was just so much going on. Like, I was still trying to establish myself as a big leaguer. I was super young. I still needed his guidance. And then I was becoming a father. So I was angry for a long time and just didn't understand what I was going through. And I think that's what led to all the drinking. I mean, I think I had a drinking problem from the start, but I think that's what like pushed me over the edge. And I don't think I ever processed it until I actually went to rehab and had a chance to like sit down, let my brain shut off and like really honestly try to figure out why I'm drinking so much. And being able to go through that process, go through the grieving process really at 35, 12 years later, and then understand what he meant to me, what he means to me. And there's not a day that goes by that I don't think about my dad. But now, like you said, I can think about him in a good way, you know?
One of the greatest pictures of his era, when he finally realizes he needs help. What's the process of truly coming forward and seeking that help and spending that month in rehab?
It was something that was kind of like boiling over for like 2 years, 3 years. I knew I had a drinking problem. I knew I was destroying my family. I just didn't care because I was more selfish and still worried about how I'm gonna sleep at night or how I'm gonna get to the next day. And I think in 2015, I was just literally tired. I was fed up, like I couldn't stop. And that was the first time where I really realized like, oh, this is a problem. Like I can't stop if I wanted to.
Damn.
And you know, I spent that weekend in Baltimore. We had a rain out and I spent the weekend in Baltimore drinking nonstop. And I went into the office and talked to Joe Girardi and Chad Bowling was our mental conditioning coach at the time. And we called Brian Cashman and they were on board. But the two people that I always give credit to the most is Dylan Betances and Chris Young. I'm forever in debt to them because they knew my struggle and what was going on as a teammate. And I went to them first and told them what was happening. And they both right away was like, you're making the right decision. You're doing the right thing for your family. Don't worry about us. You need to get right. And it was the best decision I could have ever made. And I'm so thankful for everybody that was there in that moment. I'm thankful for my family, my wife, obviously, but the Yankee organization for being able to support me and, you know, my teammates being able to have my back. It was a good moment for me.
And bro, it's something I asked recently to Kirk Franklin, because he said he had a porn addiction, and I was like, a porn addiction, like I like looking at naked people too. I like looking at, like I enjoy porn, like what, like an addiction. So for you to say I'm an alcoholic, but I just can't enjoy a couple drinks. Like what's the difference between, I can go out, I have me a couple glasses of wine with the wife, and now I'm an alcoholic.
No, for me, I was never going out to just have a couple of glasses of wine. Like every time I was going to get fucked up. Every single time. From the time that I started drinking though, like at 14, the first time I had a drink, I mean, by the time I was 14 though, I had already been like, you know, my grandfather passed away and, you know, all these different things. My parents had split up. I'm going through all these different things. And I had a drink, and the very first night I got up and I was like, oh yeah, this is where I'm at. Damn. You know what I'm saying? This is it. And it was from that time until I was 35, so basically 21 years, I never had a drink just with the intentions of it being a good time or I'm just gonna sip this. Like it was always, I'm having 7 to 9 drinks, Long Island's, whatever it was never just, you know, for a good time. It was always get up, always.
Yeah.
How did you recognize that? Because I drink.
Yeah. No,
You know
I didn't.
He stopped drinking.
I didn't know.
We'll have a couple drinks. We'll hang out. We're going to get on the flight. We'll grab us a cocktail.
See,
but
like if we were all together, we were in the airport and back when I was drinking, and we would go to the bar, have a couple of drinks, like you would have to carry me off the plane. There was no stopping me from getting up at the bar, or I could have missed the flight. You know what I'm saying? Like it was always too far. Like everybody else could go right here. I could never stop. It was always going too far, and it took me forever to recognize that. And yeah, I mean that's why it took me to 35 to be able to go to rehab and say, yo, I need help, and maybe this is something that I can't do. And I think I was drinking, you know, social anxiety, different things. You think you need to show up and be, you know, the light in the room and all these different things. And once I stopped drinking, 1, I have way more fun, and 2, I have more fun socially. I don't have any anxiety going out socially because I'm myself. You know what I'm saying? And I know I'm not gonna ruin a night or say something fucked up and, you know, be trying to call and y'all, man, what happened last night? You know what I'm saying? Like,
real talk.
I was one of those guys.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't want to pound away at it too much, but you know, you mentioned being in Baltimore for it, and you go to Joe Girardi, but you guys have a wild card game the next day right? And you're in the midst of your career. The team is dependent on you as a leader. How difficult was it to actually say, you know what, I'm gonna go to rehab now, and I'm not gonna hold out?
You know what was crazy? It wasn't. But every moment up until that moment, I had made every decision for baseball. And in that moment, that was the first time I made a decision for my family and myself.
Got it.
During my career. Every other decision I ever made was for baseball, to get better, to do everything on the field. And at that moment was the first time I ever made the decision for my family, for myself, to be a better person. I didn't even hesitate. And like I said, the way my teammates and everybody reacted made me feel like I made the right decision. They could have been like, nah, let's just wait. Let's wait. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, let's win.
Wait until October. No, wait after the playoffs. Then that would have made me feel like I'm hiding it. The biggest thing that helped me and that helps me stay sober is that everybody knows. So if I go to a bar in the airport,
You're being judged immediately.
yeah, some guys like gonna take a picture and be like, oh, I thought you were sober.
Right.
Oh, you do all this work, you know what I'm saying? So the best thing that happened to me is that I didn't have to hide it, and it was public right away, and now everybody knows, and now I'm naked. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm out here, and this is me, and I'm vulnerable, and that's exactly what I needed.
Did that support from the team and organization push that competitiveness within you to not fail through your rehab journey?
Yeah, I felt like I didn't want to let people down, but then there were some people that were like, he's not going to stay. You know what I mean? Like, he'll be there for 2 weeks. We need to prepare for what's going to happen when he comes out of there, or if he can't make it. And yeah, I mean, that kind of like, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm here to make myself better. Like, I am going to see this through. And, 9 years later, I mean, it does feel good. I mean, I'm glad you asked that.
And the last thing on it, is there anything you can share for anybody out there that might be struggling?
I think just to recognize it and not to run from it. Like, if you think you have a problem, then you have a problem. And for me, it wasn't like I wanted to wait until something happened. I didn't want to wait until I lost my family or a DUI or something is hit the news. Like, everybody rock bottom is different, right? And my rock bottom was me sitting in the room in Baltimore realizing I can't stop drinking this white Hennessy.
Right.
And some people come to that realization, at different times, but if you recognize that, then there's help out there for you. And a lot of people struggle with this. It's a disease. And I always tell people this, like, that month in rehab, I feel like as grown men, we should all get like a month off to go, or a week or 2 weeks to go work on yourself. You know what I'm saying? To like reset, a vacation, do whatever. Like, we all under so much pressure. Y'all work so much. Like, you know what I'm saying? Do you ever get a chance to like check in mentally, do different things? So that month was everybody knew where I was at. I didn't have to have my phone, and I was working on myself. It was the best month that I could have spent on myself.
And that's beautiful. You mentioned that every decision you made was a baseball decision. This was the first one for self. When you become a husband and a father, self includes your family. And I know that had to be a big piece of it too. You just said, I didn't want to get to the point to where I lost my family. How much did they weigh into the decision as well? And how have you seen yourself change as a father and the husband and your family as a whole since becoming sober?
Yeah, no, I think it was a huge decision. And I don't think I thought about that at the time. I think as I got into rehab and started, doing the work and thinking about myself as a father and the age that my dad, he was 47 when he passed away, and just thinking about how much I still needed him. I was 23 and I got the same age gap from my oldest son, and I'm like, I need to make sure that I'm here, I'm healthy, like my mind is sound, to be able to help my son in the struggles that I had through my teens and 20s and all these different things when my pops passed away. So it made a huge impact on me, like making that decision for not only myself, but the way, I can be a father, I can be a husband, I can parent my kids now without being so angry or having the patience now to understand what they're going through. At that time, Lil C was 12 when I went in. Carter would have been 5. So none of them knew I was in alcohol rehab except for Carson. They all just thought I was going to rehab for my knee.
Gotcha.
Because that was something that, they're used to. So he was the only one that kind of had to really live and go through it. But I do think it made me a better father and gave me a better perspective of what I need to be as a man for my kids going forward. and what I missed in my dad, you know?
We all look back as grown men, now we see 22-year-old CC,
Yeah.
and you can see it. Bro, the fame of being the ace, how did that change you? Because I know you, because I know, like, now with these young pitchers, like, I wanna watch the ace go out there and do it. Bro, you was the ace.
Yeah.
Like, you gonna go out there and boom, boom, boom their ass.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to see it. Like, you just said it, sitting on that mound, the attention that you wanted, now you have. How did that change you to be the center of baseball? Bro, you were the center, I don't want to kiss nobody's ass, bro. You were the center of baseball for years.
I guess it was hard to get used to because I was so young, but I thought that's what I wanted. Like, I thought that's where I was supposed to be. I thought, you know, once I got to be the ace, that it was gonna be automatic, that I was gonna, you know, have these games where I go out and pitch well every single time. My, you know, life off the field was gonna be great, and I had to grow through all of that stuff. You know what I mean? I really feel like I always tell people I was born and raised in California, but I kind of grew up in Cleveland. I was there from the time I was 17 till I was 27, so, you know, I had 4 of my kids were there. I got married there. I had some tough times. I got robbed there. My father passed away when we lived there. So I really did some, you know, living and through some trials and tribulations. I figured out how to become that ace and that pitcher through my later 20s. So yeah, it was something I had to grow into, is what I'm trying to say. I didn't have playoff success right away. You know, I wanted to go into the playoffs and be that Pedro or that Randy Johnson, Roger Clemens, and go out and throw shutouts, and that didn't happen. You know, I went out in 2007, won the Cy Young during the regular season, and kind of shit the bed in the playoffs. And if I don't, we win the World Series. We're the best team. It was kind of all on me. It was, you know, it was in my court. And then the next year I get traded to Milwaukee, and I get to pitch down the stretch, and I learned from in 07. And then the next year I come here, and I'm down the stretch, and we win the World Series. So I had to kind of grow into what I became.
In Milwaukee, when you were pitching on 3 days' notice often, and, you know, Chan mentioned being the ace, you're about to go into free agency, which we know you ended up getting a landmark contract. What was it in you that you did learn in Cleveland, or you learned in the playoffs when you didn't pitch as well, that said, no, like, if y'all need me to be on the mound, it doesn't matter if I don't have the right amount of time. I'm not looking to see what's going to happen next year. Put the ball in my hand and I can lead you there. What was it about being in Milwaukee for that short stint that made you so sure that's what the way you needed to pitch?
I think you said it right, and the question is what I learned in Cleveland. And it was learning to be a good teammate and learning to be there. If I'm available and if I'm able to pitch, I want the ball. When I got traded, you know, I had never played in any other organization. I was scared to death. I cried. I didn't want to go. And Amber she was pregnant at the time. She was like, man, fuck that. Them people want you there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta go somewhere where they want you. Yeah. We had this conversation 2 different times in my career. But she was like, you gotta go where them people want you. Like, they called and was like, after I got traded on the Sunday, we're like, hey, you can take a couple days and, you know, wait till you come. And she was like, no, you need to go. So I left on that next day, pitched on Tuesday, then pitched on Sunday. And I felt like as soon as I walked into that clubhouse, I had been there for 15 years. It was Prince Fielder was in there, Ricky Weeks, Mike Cameron. I mean, it was so many different guys, Billy Hall. And I was like, oh, this is great. I feel at home. And honestly, I didn't want the season to end. I was healthy, I was available, and everybody was freaking out because they was like, oh, you going to free agency? Why are you pitching so much? That was the only time in my career where I really felt like I knew that I was going to win those games. So I'm like, I'm making myself more money. Like, I need the ball more time so I can show these motherfuckers, like, I can pitch in these big games. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, like, in my mind, I'm like, no, I'm not hurting my chances. I'm making more money. So that's all that was. And
I know his agent was like, no.
My agent was going crazy. He was pissed. He wouldn't even come to the game.
75 pitches.
He was like, no. And I would go in there and tell them, like, yo, I'm pitching in 3 days. Like, it wasn't the Brewers. It wasn't anybody other than me telling them, like, this is my schedule. This is what I'm doing. And, you know, they were freaking out. Everybody was kind of on edge, but I was like, nah, this is, like, you know, when you're in the zone, you like, I mean, this is the only time that I know that I'm going to go out and win these games. Like, I'm taking the ball.
Yeah, that competitive instinct just takes over. Question, your first catcher, still your favorite?
Yeah, and my first catcher was Victor Martinez.
No, thought your mother was your first.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she still got to be
Yo,
your
yeah.
favorite.
Nah, that's a great one, yeah.
Right, no,
That's a great one.
I want to talk about her resilience and
Yeah.
sacrifice, man, to be able to help, in your journey to get you going.
You know what's crazy about that, Fred, is like my speech is basically about her and all the women in the village of women that raised me from my hometown. Like the first question that you asked, right away I always go to my dad, right? Like that's the first person I think about when I think about my success or think about me being an athlete. But the way my mom raised me and the way the advice that she gave me, the savviness that she had to be able to navigate the shit that we were going through off the field. My parents split up. My mom was trying to figure out a way, for me to continue playing, for a place for us to live. We moved in with her sister, and then my grandfather passed away, and then we ended up moving in with my grandmother, and she was working nights and just trying to figure out, any kind of way for me to be able to play sports. And she was my agent. When I got drafted, we went through the whole agent process and met with every agent from, Scott Boras to whoever else. And she was like, I don't trust anybody. I'm gonna do this deal. So when I got drafted, like, she was the one that called the Indians at the time and, got me my signing bonus. My senior year of high school, everybody wanted me to quit playing football. Nobody wanted me to play basketball because everybody wanted me to focus on the draft. You got a chance to get drafted in the first round. And my mom was like, you've been playing with these boys your whole life. These are your best friends. And if you're really gonna be this baseball player that everybody thinks you're gonna be and you think you're gonna be, this is gonna be your last time playing organized football. Your last time playing basketball with your boys. Go out and have fun. Yeah. And I'm so grateful that she was able to have perspective and give me that advice because, growing up in the situations that we grew up, I had a lot of friends that were probably better athletes than me, but I don't think had the infrastructure or the love and the support from the house that I was getting. So I'm always grateful for my mom, and I always tell her, I'll pick my mom in any lifetime, at any time.
Man, that's awesome.
That's how, how much she's meant to me and as a person and in my career.
You were a multi-sport star. You just mentioned football. You had a scholarship to Cal. Mm-hmm. Bo Jackson, another multi-sport star. What's the story behind the Tat?
I mean, growing up in the 80s and 90s, he was the guy, right? But more so for me, just my inspiration. I strive to be a great athlete. Like Bo Jackson was all over every wall, every poster, everything that I ever had. And I wanted to be Bo Jackson. Right. I really, every day, left my house going out in the summertime, you know what I'm saying? And that's who I was. So everybody that's on this leg is an inspiration to me, and I don't think that I would be here without them, for sure. This is my cousin who passed away in 2012, but probably the best athlete in my family. Not probably, for sure the best athlete in my family and who I originally wanted to be. So everybody that I have tatted on this leg is somebody that's a huge inspiration to me, and Bo was, probably number one.
I mean, you got to be tall though. My leg's little, and I'm 5'11". You got to go both legs.
You
gonna get them little baby tattoos.
You gotta get that shit around.
You gonna have some yearbook
They gonna
pictures.
see their face up. We have baby pictures. You know what I mean?
He said some yearbook pictures.
Hey, see, man. In listening to you talk about your mother, and you mentioned the strong village of women that raised you and sacrificed, for you. I've met you a ton of times. I've seen you a ton of times. And trying to get you on the show, we not texting you. No. You know what I'm saying? We're not putting you in charge of that. Your wife, Amber, she's an agent, but also she's a massive support system. I don't know how many times you've mentioned her in just decision-making as it pertains to your career and your life. What has it meant to you to have a life partner as strong and supportive and loving as she's been?
Man, I think it's the reason why I'm sitting here, I think. I know it's the reason why I was able to have a Hall of Fame career. Being able to have that type of support from somebody from, a young age. We met at 15 and 16 years old. I think she's seen right away kind of what I could be on both sides. So she was always keeping it real from the time that we were young, with the drinking and some of the bad decisions and all these different things. she was right there. And on the other side, you know, the time I got drafted, every contract that I signed, she was right in the middle of all those negotiations. So when it came time for, you know, us to move here, make the decision to come to New York, this is again us having this conversation about you going somewhere where people want you. At the same time, when I got traded, I was nervous to go to Milwaukee. When I came to New York, I had it in my mind that I was gonna play on the West Coast. I grew up in California, grew up in the Bay Area, and I'm like, I wanna play for the Dodgers, I wanna play for San Diego, Anaheim. And the very first day of free agency, the New York Yankees offered me a contract. I'm like, fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the furthest place away from home. You got all this drama and shit out here. Yeah. I ain't got nowhere to live. I gotta be in Central Park in the city and people rude and shit. I'm like, this is the worst decision we could ever make. And we go through the whole process and, you know, we're trying to figure out what we're gonna do. Little C was 5. We had a 3-year-old and we had a newborn. And she was like, wherever we go, we needed to be our home. We need to plant roots, we need to raise our kids, and I don't give a if it's on the moon. As long as our family is together, we can play anywhere. And when she said that, I was like, all right, that makes, you know what I'm saying? Like, if, that makes sense. Like, and again, she was like, the Yankees want you. You need to go somewhere where you want it. And it made that decision so much easier to be able to come here. And 16, 17 years later, best decision I ever made, but I have to give her a lot of credit and, you know, being there every step of the way and kind of, you know, getting my head out of the weeds of not wanting to come to New York. But having that support system is incredible. And I think my career ends up different if I don't get married young and if I don't have kids super young. I think my career is completely different.
Your wife and my wife, they're friends and all that. I always say get a co-pilot, don't get a passenger.
Yeah.
Because that's what Amber is.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's morbid, but if I go in a coma tomorrow, our kids, our life doesn't change.
Yeah.
Because Asia can run it. Is that a good thing, or what advice would you give to young boys about?
No, that's 100% right. I mean, you know, marry the smartest person you know. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's literally the advice I give everybody when young baseball players. I'm like, yo, marry the smartest girl you know. Somebody that's gonna have your back 100%. And I know, you know, I feel like every decision that we make is for us as a family and for us as our legacy, especially now going forward. You know, everything that we are doing now is for our kids and hopefully our grandkids and, you know, building that Sabathia name and that legacy.
And they gonna argue now.
Oh yeah. I mean, you gotta give up control. That made my life so much easier. When I stopped trying to control and just was like, just show me where to go. Tell me where to go, tell me where to be, and I'm so much easier now.
Yeah.
It's great. It's so much easier.
Cece, you mentioned coming to New York. Obviously, it turned into one of your best decisions ever. But the pressures that came along with coming to play for the Pinstripes, what was that like? Because the city is real crazy.
Yeah, it is. Nah, the city is passionate. You know what I'm saying? And especially for Yankee fans, like, they hold you accountable. They expect you to go out and throw 7, 8 innings every time out. That's what I expect out of myself. So once I figured out nobody can put more pressure on me than I already put on myself, you know, I can figure this out. And I think the biggest thing that people try to do here is come here and, you know, do too much, try to turn into Superman. When you come to the Yankees, especially at the time when I came, if you look around, that team was probably one of the better Yankee teams that was ever assembled. You had A-Rod at third, Jeter at short, Cano at second, Teixeira at first. Like, all you gotta do is just not fuck this up. And y'all gonna, you know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna win pretty much all of the games if you don't go out there and give up 7 runs in 3 innings. So once I figured out, like, oh, it's way less pressure because this team is a lot better than any team I've ever been on, it made it easier just to go out and be myself. And you kind of find a pocket where it's also fun to kind of find a pocket where you're not the superstar. Like, everything that happened, they're going straight to Jeter's locker, then they go into A-Rod's locker, then they go into Mo's locker. I'm like the 7th dude on this list.
Right.
Like, this is great. You know what I'm saying? So it became, you know, fun and easy once I kind of figured out, oh, I can be myself and you know, kind of fly under the radar here.
You ever think about the umpire that didn't give you the error, so you didn't get the no-hitter?
Man, you know what? Me and Jason Kendall are still really close. I see him all the time. and we were talking about this the other day. It happened so early in the game in Pittsburgh that I didn't pitch knowing that I was throwing a no-hitter. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a different thing, going to the 6th, 7th inning, like, oh, he's got a no-hitter. We just thought it was a one-hit game. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm going out kind of pitching without the pressures of throwing a no-no. Had it happened later in the game, then we get that kind of build-up, and then I feel like it's more of a no-hitter. So I don't think about that. I don't let that bother me.
But bro, when you out there, like you say, you the man, you're running the game. And back now they got a pitch clock. So now whatever, but back then, the game don't start till you pitch it.
Yeah.
Like, that gotta be crazy to know that it goes and ends through me. The psychological side of that.
Yeah, like,
Do you have to get used to that as a kid to move up? Because I see these dudes nut up all the time.
I mean, that's something that my high school coach kind of taught me, is that, like, you're in control. Like, if I want to walk around the mound, tie my shoe after every pitch, after every single pitch, I can do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I loved that part of it. Like, I always used to tell Hove, I was around Hove all the time, and like watching him, like from behind, like Rocca Stadium, is like, that's how you feel. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's 50,000. I always say it's 50,000 people in the Bronx on a random Tuesday, and this shit don't start until like I'm ready. Like, you know, it's 7:05, but I can start this motherfucker at 7:08 if I want to. I can start at 7:06. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm in control of this whole thing, and I think that was the most appealing part about, you know, being pitching in the Bronx and being a starting pitcher in general, but just pitching in the Bronx and having that energy and knowing that it stops and starts on you is incredible.
Are there pitchers that'll pitch better in Milwaukee or in Texas than they will with that pressure? Like, it seems like it's so much. There are very talented, even football-wise, very talented quarterbacks that's gonna nut up. There's very talented people that's gonna nut up. Like, why don't you nut up when you're in them situations?
Because I just explained, but that you have to understand, like, when you play for the Yankees, most times your team is gonna be really good. They're gonna trade. They're gonna, like, go sign whoever they can to make this team be a World Series contending team. So you don't have to do anything other than what you can do. Like when I talk about 07 and the playoffs in Cleveland, I was trying to go out and have this performance like Randy Johnson, Kurt Schilling. Like, I wanted to go out and have this epic performance every single time out, 8 innings, 9 innings, and I didn't need to do that. All I need to do is just go out and do my little part. Go, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, stay in your lane, and if everybody stayed in the lane and do their part, kind of like the same thing on the football field. Like, everybody's got to hit their assignment. Everybody's got to block. Everybody got to do the right thing. And in baseball, it's kind of the same way.
I can give up 3, but they'll get us 4.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just don't give up fucking 7.
Well, they gonna pull you before that anyway.
Just don't give up 7. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just don't completely it up.
Yeah.
And we gonna win.
You mentioned watching Hove rock a stage. That was like small flex. I just let it go. He's like, I'm behind him. I was like, well, damn. Every time I go to the concert, I'm in the stands, so I'm in front of the people. I never really get to see, but
He's not where I sit.
no, he ain't where I sit either. He ain't where I sit.
He real close.
Yeah, he real close. But the proximity to people like that is part of being in New York. And I think getting an opportunity to sit with people like you and others we've sat with that have accomplished and achieved greatness, it is inspiring. Who are some of those people, man, just like throughout your career or throughout your upbringing that, you mentioned Bo Jackson already, that you looked at for inspiration as to this is the level of excellence you strive to in any walk of life?
Yeah, you know who is a huge one for me is Dave Stewart. He pitched for the A's in the late 80s. He's from Oakland. And at 9 years old, he walked to my Boys and Girls Club. And in the late 80s, early 90s, the percent of black baseball players at its highest. It was like 18%. So every team had 2 or 3 guys. I mean, you guys know we're about the same age. You can look on the TV and you can see a guy that looked like you. So I knew who Dave Stewart was, but the effect that he had on us in that Boys and Girls Club is something that I wanted. And that's the reason why I started my Pitch In Foundation and being in the neighborhood is I just didn't want to be a guy that you seen on TV or this major league pitcher. I wanted to be the guy that you see like Willie Mays in Harlem playing stickball with the kids. That's the effect that kind of Dave Stewart had on me as a kid, and it's the reason why I do all the philanthropy work. And if I can just have one kid come up to me and say what I just said about me, about Dave Stewart, then it's all worth it. You know what I mean? Like, it makes it all worth it. So that's the reason why I'm so visible. That's the reason why I'm in the Bronx's Boys and Girls Club, in my hometown, in Cleveland and Milwaukee doing the camps, is because I want to have that effect that Dave Stewart had on me as a 9-year-old.
The game is expensive. I learned that from Channing. His kid is in travel baseball. And
Goddamn $350 bats.
And you got to buy one twice a year.
I need to drop 6. Man, that drop 6, boy. You better go swing that bat.
You know, like looking back, man, like young CC, I'm sure it would be tough for you to have gone through this journey with the way things are. How do we get the current kids that want to go out there and play? What's the process of them being able to afford getting out there so they can live out their dream?
The kid like me, the situation I grew up in, there's no chance I would make it in today's game. Being a multi-sport athlete, not having the funds to be able to get to a perfect game or whatever tournament, not being able to buy a drop 6, not having the right equipment, not being able to have an outfielder's glove, a first baseman's glove, a pitcher's glove. Like, if you don't have the necessary tools, you feel less than, and you may go off into another sport. So I know 1,000% that would have been me. I would have showed up probably to a tournament, and there would have been kids with bats and gloves and all this different shit, and I show up with my one glove that I played fucking left field, first base, and I'm on the mound with. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I'm using somebody else's bat. Like, so if I don't show up with that stuff, you feel less than, and I'm going to football. I'm going to play basketball, where
That's
my
what
boys
happens.
and my friends are.
Yeah.
We have an organization called the Players Alliance that we started in 2020 that is addressing that. And through that, I feel like we have been doing a great job of just, you know, finding those kids throughout the country that need that support, need that help. When I was still playing, you know, they were telling me that the numbers were dwindling down. We talked about the 18% of black people playing the game when we were kids. It's about 6%. And when I was playing in like 2007, it was like 4%. And, you know, I made a statement. I was like, you know, this is a crisis and, you know, we need to do something about it. And everybody jumped down my throat. And I was just like, maybe kids aren't playing. Maybe black kids ain't playing baseball. And that's not the case. They playing it at a high level. We just got to get them the opportunities. And we got to make sure that we are not discouraging the kids that are multi-sport athletes from playing baseball. And I think through the Players Alliance, we are addressing that. But it's something that we all think about. We consciously, you know, are trying to make better, because I feel like a lot of the guys from my generation grew up in my situation, whether it's Gary Sheffield or, you know, Kenny Lofton or Jimmy Rollins. We all kind of came out of that same mold, and none of us would make it in today's game.
Being in the major leagues as a black American, because I see a bunch of Dominicans and I look at them like I look at y'all, and then I say, what's up, bro?
And then they talk.
What's up, bro? K? I say, K?
I got a funny story about that.
but tell the story, but even on that, like being a black American in baseball, like, and you were in a time when it was, I think we're more progressive now than we were when you played.
Yeah, no, so my first team that I played on, I got drafted, I'm 17 years old. I'm fresh from, literally going from high school, now I'm a pro. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, they throw you into the fire. Like, you go to the minor leagues. So I walk into the locker room, and it's like two dark-skinned dudes over here, and then it's like, you know, the white dudes over here, but then in this corner, it's like 7 dark dudes. I'm like, oh, like, we good. Like, we locked in. So I go straight down there, like, to say what's up, and everybody down there spoke Spanish. It's the first time that I ever met, like, Dominican guys, you know what I'm saying? They kind of look like me. They look like me. They start speaking Spanish, like, Kate, like, and then the 2 black dudes grabbed me over there. I was like, yeah, nah, you got to come to this corner over here.
It's us 3 now.
It's us 3 now. You stay out of that corner, you stay over here in this corner. But
NFL locker rooms are, what, 80, 90% black?
Yeah.
MLB locker rooms, like you said, 10% black Americans.
Yeah.
I don't know, 6% white boys, but then it's a Hispanic dude, so you're really a minority again.
You are. It made it tough, you know, sometimes to be able to, just to be, sometimes I was the only black dude that, you know, in Cleveland, it was just me. In New York, I never had that. It was, you know, it was either me, Derek, you know, Judge came along, whoever else. You know, like I said, when we were watching the game, it was the number was so high. I feel like it's always been our game. You know what I mean? Like even back to, you know, the Negro League days and Jackie Robinson days, like baseball was black culture. Like if you look at, you know, Hank Aaron and those boys when they started down in Rickwood and, you know, some of the stuff that we're doing down there, like that's Central baseball and that's black baseball. And those guys were the LeBron James. Those are the Jalen Hurtses. You know, Satchel Paige is flying around in the 40s with decked out suits and he's got his own plane. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like these are the guys. So it's always been our sport. We just got to figure out a way to get back to our culture, if that makes sense. Like baseball has always been good for black athletes. Hasn't always been great for black culture. And I think we need to get back to getting back to black culture. It started in Atlanta with the All-Star game. I don't know if you guys seen any of that. With JD and you know, Ludacris starting it off for us and, you know, everything that we kind of did down there, honoring Hank on, you know, the home run derby day, I think, you know, we're getting back to that.
Did you have some influence in some conversations with that, with your role now and working with them?
Yeah, so we started a group about 4 years ago of ex-players. And it kind of just started with, you know, I got a job there in 21. Raul Ubani is working with the league. He's one of my favorite teammates. And I'm like, if he's working over there, then it can't be that bad. You know what I'm saying? So I joined and started working with the league and just trying to change the narrative of, you know, players and the league not having a great relationship. And, you know, we started the group, Commissioner Ambassadors Program, and a bunch of those boys I just named, Jimmy Rollins, Ryan Howard, you know, Gary Sheffield, Fred McGriff, we're involved and at a high level in, you know, trying to change the game, trying to bring the culture back. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff that happened in Atlanta, the uniforms, the guys wearing 44 on the home run derby, you know, that was our idea. A lot of the stuff that you see with the hats and, you know, the way that the guys are wearing the uniforms is our idea. We did a big game back in Rickwood, East-West Classic, you know, bringing back a Negro League Classic at the oldest ballpark in America. We did that. We refurbished the field and put it in Willie Mays' name. I mean, the Hank Aaron tribute that you saw after the 6th inning, that was all us. So, you know, we're just trying to change the narrative that players can't work for the league. And, you know, for me, if you just look at that program, it's all my friends. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get a chance to be able, like what you guys are doing. This is all a friendship. You know, I've watched you guys kind of, the way this evolved, and it's through friendship. And that's what that program is us having a love for the game, having a love for the players, and through our friendship, trying to make the game better. And it's been a lot of fun to be able to be on that side of it and bring my guys along with me.
So just right now with the involvement, obviously you work with the league. How are you also involved with the union and trying to help things move forward there as well?
Yeah, so you know, having my role with MLB, I'm trying to change the narrative. You know, it always being a fight. You know, the players against the league, and you know, I think you know with the program that I'm putting together, the Commissioner Ambassadors Program, we have enough relationships around the league and you know through clubhouses that. If you know Mookie Betts or whoever else sees us working on this side, well, oh, maybe it's not that bad on that side, you know, and I think that's, you know, what we're trying to do. And you know, for me, it's about having legends around the game, you know, the Gary Sheffields matter, you know, Fred McGriffs, they matter. And, you know, to suggest that, you know, to have us around is a bad thing is heartbreaking, you know, and it sucks to, you know, kind of have that narrative out there that we're doing anything for money. I don't know if anybody knows me, but I don't do anything for money. You know, I'm doing this to try to help the game, to try to grow the game, and to try to help and change the narrative, you know, throughout the game. And you know, I'm gonna continue to do that. You know, whether the union or whoever else likes it or not, I'm gonna continue to do what I know is right and continue to bring my friends around and give them access to the game that we love.
But you're not involved in negotiations in any way.
No,
correct?
it's not my job.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Yeah, people,
my
I
job,
think that's how people see it.
Yeah, that's how people see it.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm trying to change the narrative. That, for me, to see me around, you know, the commissioner and say, oh, he's on this side of this issue or whatever, makes no sense.
Right.
I'm on the side of growing the game and trying to make the game better, and I think everybody in my group is a part of that.
Yeah, that's perfect. I love to read, and so I want to ask you about a book. I think it's called 5 O'Clock Comes Early.
Mm-hmm.
How did that book sort of change your perspective and outlook on yourself and life going forward?
That book by Bob Welch changed me because I didn't know if I was going to be able to play or pitch without alcohol. That sounds crazy, but it had been so much a part of my routine, so much a part of my life, that I was sitting in rehab like, I don't know if I can pitch without drinking. Like, this is like what I do. Like, I pitch, I drink that night, I drink the next night, drink 3 nights in a row, and then I take 2 nights off. And then, but like, that's like, it's like part of my lifts. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so once I read that book and got an understanding of, you know, I have a new routine, one, and, you know, this is what it's gonna take for me to stay sober and stay on the track that I need to. And 2, he did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was able to go to rehab and he was able to come back and pitch at a high level. It just gave me the confidence to be able to, the confidence and I guess the will to be able to want to play after coming out of rehab.
I know functioning alcoholics. You know, I have family members who are actually like functioning drug addicts. None of them are going to the Hall of Fame in anything. I'm just being honest. You know, and you mentioned just now, it just struck me, you said, I didn't know if I would be able to pitch. I would feel like it's almost the other way around unless the drinking was such a way of life for you. How do you feel you were able to reach such heights with a lifestyle like that?
It was like, I mean, it was just, it was functioning. I was a functioning addict. It was just something, like I said, I had did since I was 14. It was something that I did in high school when, if I felt like it was a big game and I was gonna be nervous, I would drink the night before, just so I could be hungover, so I would know I didn't have to worry about butterflies in my stomach. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how, like, I had figured out how much alcohol could help me at that time. So it was literally just something that was like a part of my life. Like, I started drinking because it would be a bunch of scouts that was coming to my games in my junior year. And I'd be like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna just get drunk the night before and I can wake up and just go play. I don't have to worry about nothing.
I got it. Do you ever think about, to Ryan's question,
Yeah, like
you throwing 97
is the glove blurry?
hungover, like you throwing, bro, we done all watched you body ass. And you out there rubbing your face and, like, did you ever think about, bro, if I wasn't drinking, like, what I could do when you stopped, though?
Yeah, no, I didn't. I don't know. I mean, it's the same thing with my weight, right? Like, I was at my biggest, I was like 340. And I never thought about not being that weight. Like, it's just who I was or what I was. Like, I was offensive lineman. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what I am. So no, I never, and I still don't even think that it would have changed anything. I don't think so, you know?
If you was pushing off that back leg, or you left-handed, so you would push off this leg, at lighter and not hungover, you could be able to throw faster than.
Yeah.
But the question is, have you ever thought about it? Is there any regret in it?
No, none. And I think that's what I'm saying, none. Yeah. Like, zero. I don't for me, like, being lighter, like, health-wise, like, just living longer, yes. Like, I wish I was taking care of myself way back then, yes. But, like, as far as, like, as an athlete, no. I don't think I missed anything. I don't think it would change anything. But, like, for life, like, just, like, now, you know, wanting to live longer and be around my grandkids and all of that shit, yeah, I should have been taking care of myself a long time ago.
If he was CC Sabathia that had to go back to Vallejo after 3 years in the minor league, it might be a different thing. Like, he's going to Cooperstown. Right. You know what I mean? I think, you know, a lot of people who have those regrets, it's when you're the hometown hero, the 3-sport star that doesn't make it, you know?
I was always scared of being that too. I was always scared of, like, letting so that's why when you ask what I'm carrying when I walk across that stage, right. I'm carrying that I didn't let them people down. Being that 3-sport star and being that guy that everybody looked at, like, I was in the paper at 9, 10 years old. You're on front of the sports page. You know what I'm saying? And to be able to kind of live that out and carry that out for my hometown, for my dad, for all of, everybody that like threw that on my back, like that's what I'm walking across the stage carrying.
Yeah, I'm stuck in between asking about the movie Vallejo, right? That's gonna go back and follow your childhood, versus asking about, you pivoting throughout your career and changing from the big power thrower and adjusting your stuff to more finesse that created your longevity and obviously landed you in Cooperstown. You can go either direction with either one of those. Which one is most important to you?
I'm super excited about the project, just because, I talk about, my hometown and how unique it was to grow up there. And, I feel like if we did a show or a movie about it, it would be a cross between The Sandlot and Snowfall. You know what I'm saying? Right? No, really, really good young black baseball players in the middle of that type of shit going on. I grew up in that 80s, 90s jungle. That's what the middle of what was going on at the park. But you had high level fucking baseball going on as kids, you know what I'm saying? My 12-year-old all-star team probably should have went to the Little League World Series. We were just one pitcher short, but best baseball team I've ever been on. You know what I'm saying? And it was all my homeboys and we were all black. You know what I'm saying? So it would be exciting and fun to be able to kind of tell that story and let people understand how rich the baseball is in my hometown and kind of where I came from and why I play the sport. So yeah, I would be excited to be able to tell that story and going back to me being able to extend my career. I think that was just being lucky, being able to be in this Yankees organization and I had Mariano Rivera, I had Andy Pettin, I had Billy Connors, and all three of those dudes had mastered the cutter. And when I was throwing hard, they all were like, hey, you need to think about throwing a cutter. I was like, no, I don't. I fucking throw hard enough. You know what I'm saying? And as I lost my velocity, I started paying more attention, and I couldn't have learned from three better guys to understand, how to throw this pitch, when to throw this pitch, how to set it up, and, extremely, humbled and honored that I was able to extend my career. And it's the only reason I was able to go to Cooperstown is by being able to come in contact with those three men.
It's amazing how the brain takes over when you lose that rawness. We talk about it in football too. The longer you play, you start to lose a little bit of that stuff you really had, but this has to take over.
Yeah.
Right?
And then it's like, man, I wish I was using this when my shit was good. You know what I'm saying? But then that's when you see the Patrick Mahomes or whoever else it is.
But you to talk about your 12-year-old team and then to talk about when you had to adjust. Is baseball nature or nurture? Cause you don't look like a normal, you don't look like them other boys. You bring up Randy Johnson, that bitch was 6'9", and you a big dude, but they got these little dudes out here now that's throwing shit.
Yeah, no, I mean,
but they don't look the part. Is it nature or nurture?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think you can, obviously, one, I was born with this arm, and I always tell my wife, I was like, I knew I could throw hard when I was young, you know what I'm saying? Throwing the grapefruits. I didn't want to tell that story, but yeah, that's how I knew. I'm sure people tired of hearing me throwing the fucking grapefruits, but that's a true story. I knew I could throw hard, but there are people that, like you said, that are unassuming. Jose Altuve, one of the best hitters that we've ever seen, probably going to the Hall of Fame, and he's
minuscule.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's fun, and I think baseball is cool in that way that anybody, with enough skill and that can work hard enough can make it to the big leagues.
You have so many special moments. I listed those accolades when you sat down. What's a moment with a teammate or just with the team and environment that stands out to you that was truly special that you got to experience throughout your 19 years?
I think for me, one, winning the World Series, but I think the biggest moment that was for me, having a chance to experience was watching Derek get 3,000 hits. He went 5 for 5 that day. I think he hit a grand slam to get the 3,000 hit. But just the lead up to that, you know what I'm saying? Watching him go through that, You know, being in the Yankee uniform, you know, being his teammate, being close to him, it was incredible to kind of see that. And, you know, having my own kind of going for 3,000 strikeouts and having that build up and knowing what that was like, it was fun to see it on both, on as a teammate side, like a little brother, and then to go through it, you know, yourself, and then, you know, have my guy Dylan Betances do the same thing. You know, he was with me, you know, going through it, and but watching your teammate get a milestone like that, where you know he's going to the Hall of Fame, is probably the coolest thing.
First baseball jersey I ever owned was a Derek Jeter jersey.
Okay.
I was number 2 my entire life, like high school, all that, and I was like, this is perfect. You know what I mean? What was it like to be a teammate or just in that atmosphere, that vicinity with the captain and the New York Yankees?
It was something that was real. You know what I'm saying? Like you see people wearing the C, or hear people being the captain and all of that shit, and it's like, is he really a captain? Even outside looking in, when I was in Cleveland, I was like, what is, you know what I'm saying? Like,
He ain't like that.
I don't fucking get it. Like,
Yeah,
That shit cute.
Jeter ain't like that.
but coming here, I get it. I understood. And you know, from day one of spring training, he called me, you know, and like I said, he just lets you be yourself. He lets you fly under the radar. He takes all the heat. Something needs to be said, he will say it. But just one of probably the best teammate I ever had. And leading the way he did by example, and really, you know, kind of, he'll stand up and say whatever he needs to say in the clubhouse too. But every single day, you know he's ready to play and ready to try to win a game. So it was real. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, if that makes sense. Like, some of it's not real, but his captain, I mean, that was real.
I got to ask, this is a personal question. And my son, he obviously doesn't throw like you, but he pitches a little bit.
He will.
But bro, no, because do you know, like, do you have guys? Do you know you got a guy before he walks out the dugout? Is there times in the day where he just, I done killed his ass so many times, he don't even gonna swing his bat.
And that's what I was saying about those times in Milwaukee. Like, I knew driving to the ballpark, like, you have no chance to win. I never felt like that.
Yeah.
Where I'm driving to the ballpark, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm winning this game today. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was no butterflies in my stomach. I know as soon as the game starts, I'm going 8 innings and we're gonna win this fucking game. Like, there have been times, like, there's times that I feel like that when I'm driving to Yankee Stadium, and I'm out of there in the 3rd inning. You know what I'm saying? But that 2 months in Milwaukee is when I knew that, this is my game.
In that window, did you know that you could be a Hall of Famer? When did you know, like, CC means
Man,
something?
I never, ever thought about me going to the Hall of Fame until I think it was like 2013 or 14. I got into it with an umpire like I always do. And I was sitting on the bench next to one of my teammates, and he said something about, like, how you gonna do that to a Hall of Famer? And I was like, who the fuck are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? But, like, that was the first time I had ever even realized that people thought of me like that.
Yeah.
Like, I had never even, like, never crossed my mind. Like, never, ever crossed my mind until I was sitting next to Ben Francisco, and he like, just said that in passing. And I'm like, oh, shit. Like, I mean, like, yeah, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I never considered myself a Hall of Famer.
All right. Throughout your journey, though, man, from Vallejo to the bigs, you know, finding success, finding struggle, finding growth, what's been your biggest pivot or your greatest pivot?
I think my greatest pivot is just understanding myself, I guess, processing everything that kind of happened to me young, and being able to apply that as a grown man and you know, become a better father, become a better husband, because I was on the track of, you know, losing everything. I think in, you know, October of 2015 was my greatest pivot, being able to you know, stop drinking and you know, turn my life around.
And this is just a pure question because I need education as a fan, right? And you seem to you love baseball.
I do love baseball. I love sports in general, but I love baseball.
And Chan was talking about pitching. I got to watch Paul Skeens. I went to LSU.
Yeah.
When there's a young dude like him who's at the Pirates, and I played in Pittsburgh, he's not the greatest run support, But when you watch someone like him, does that bring you joy that the game is in hands of guys like the Skeens and the Shohei Ohtanis and all of these people you're still advocating for while trying to build it up more for people like us too?
Yeah, no, it's incredible to watch. Not only one like Skeens do what he did in the big leagues, but do what he did at LSU.
Yeah.
I think, more kids, especially more black kids, need to know that that's a route that you can take. That's an avenue that you can take. Mike Braswell was on that team. So many different guys that you can name. I love the fact that he's able to take that success from the College World Series, LSU, and then bring that right into the big leagues. Like you said, it's tough getting the run support with the Pirates.
Yeah.
But it's incredible to watch him. He's 2 years into his big league career. He started the All-Star game twice.
Yep.
He's probably he's going to be one of the greatest talents that we've seen in a long time. And our game is in a great spot. It is. We just need more players involved, helping the league, figure out how to, build this culture up and build these moments up. And
you bring up Shohei, who's an ace, and raking. Mm-hmm. Your big ass wasn't raking.
Hey, you hit a home off of Chano Park, though.
Yeah, I did.
You got Chano Park.
I said you brought up Shohei. I'm
like 20
looking
years too late. I might have been like 20 years too late.
Hey, you got a Chano Park, he got what? Oh, man. So I guess my last thing is, will they call you Karsten Charles Sabathia when you walk across the stage?
I hope so. I hope
So
it's
you can get
Carson
that.
Charles. Yeah. And again, to honor my father, my son will be there. He's Carson Charles. So yeah, I'm gonna be walking across with that man on my back. So yeah, I hope they do call me Carson Charles.
Man, thank you for your time, bro. This was absolutely amazing, man. We appreciate you, and just congrats again, dog. I think it's amazing that not only you had the playing career that you had, but now in becoming the person that you are, you share your story, but you also give back by being present in many places where they don't get to see people like you. Appreciate you.
Well, let's go grab a drink.
Let's do it.
Welcome to the show, Charles.
Appreciate it.
Peanut Tillman, one of the best to do it. We'll talk about the fact that you were kind of like 2 plays away from an historic milestone in the NFL. This is Channing Crowder. I'm Ryan Clark. This is Fred Taylor, Pivot Fam. Thank you for pivoting with us. So I'm trying to figure out like where to start, right? There's so much to your story, your journey, and where we are today. And a lot of that deals with football. But I want to know, what is it like being a part of an FBI raid where the person in the raid goes, "Hey man, ain't you Charles Tillman?"
It's kind of funny, but I would always say you got way more problems to think. You got more important problems to think about than me being Charles Tillman. And then once I said that, guys were like, "Oh shit, okay, this is real." Yeah, I had a fanboy moment, but okay, I got some problems because I got the feds knocking on my door. And it just happens to be Charles Tillman and a bunch of other federal agents, but yeah, okay, stuff just got real. And then it kind of, Charles Tillman, the Bears, all that goes out the window, and then they start thinking about damn, I'm finna get arraigned. Reality sets in really fast. And my little blurb of hey, I'm Peanut Tillman, Peanut Punch, that goes out the window real quick. Once I say, hey, you got more important problems to think about, bruh,
I feel like I would play along for a little bit. It'd be like, "Oh yeah, man, man, I had a lot of forced fumbles. I played the Super Bowl, you know what I mean? Have the autograph."
Hey, what up, bro? You been punked. No, your ass going to jail.
I think one of the things that we did so well, though, the group of guys on my particular squad that I worked with, when I first started, I lied all the time. I lied about who I was. And if you give someone enough doubt, they won't believe it. Or they'll believe you if you just go along with it. But the group of people that I worked with, my partners or my squad mates, they would do more lying than me. They're like, "Man, hell no, that ain't no damn Peanut Tillman. He looked like a peanut. Why would Peanut Tillman be out here? Man, that's Wendell. That's Wendell Thompson." So that was like my alias, Wendell Thompson. So I started writing my name, Wendell Thompson, on folders and stuff, just so people wouldn't recognize my name. And then they would say, "Hey, Wendell, hey, what's up?" And then damn, I thought, "Hey man, anyone ever told you look like Peanut Tillman?" I'm like, "Man, I get that all the time, bro. I get that all the time. Or sometimes I just be like, no, I ain't never heard that before. Who is that? I play along with it. It was fun. It was
I love
really
the fact they went Wendell because that's so black.
That is a black man. I want you to answer that question that they would ask the, what do you call the assailant? Why in the hell, I'm a pocket watcher. I looked up how much money you made. Why would you go be an FBI? That's dangerous. You played a dangerous game
Right.
and then go and do something else dangerous?
Right.
That don't make no sense, bro.
It does because of how I grew up with my dad. So my dad was in the Army, right? My dad served his 20 years, and my dad was G.I. Joe. I'm an 80s baby. So Roadblock, the whole G.I. Joe crew, Snake Eyes, Lady J, Hawkeye, like all those, like I thought that was just the dopest show when I was a kid, right? So my dad being in the military, I had access to tanks and Apaches and Cobras and APCs, the Deuce and a Half. Like I got to grow up around all these vehicles and this equipment. And I just thought it was the coolest thing that my dad could do that. I would go to work with my dad when you could bring your kid to work day. And I thought my dad was like the dopest thing ever. And then we traveled. I lived overseas. I lived in Germany. And I thought, to me, that was fun. So I always wanted to play football. Always, since day one. And I said, look, if football don't work out, I'm going to go join the Army. I'm going to just be like my dad. It worked out great for him. I had a great life. And then, all right, I get a scholarship. All right, well, I guess I'm not going to the military right after college or right after high school. I play my 4 years, but so, well, hell, if I don't get drafted, I'll go in as an officer. I'll go do some SF stuff, try to do something really, really cool and fun because I like guns and shooting and stuff. So yeah, let me do that. Well, I get drafted. All right, well, let's see how long I play and I'll just kind of go from there. And then I played 13 years. So then when I retired, I still wanted to serve. And if my agent was here right now, he would tell you the day I was interviewing him, he was like, what do you want to do after football? I said, probably federal law enforcement. And it was just something that I always wanted to do public service. I wanted to do my part and serve. It wasn't in the military, but I did it in a different way by serving in the FBI. And it was an amazing experience. I've worked with some amazing people. We've done some amazing things. You all have no idea what that organization does that you don't know about. And they're saving lives every single day.
What are some of the things in what you can tell us, right? Because we obviously know you can't get into detail about everything that you've seen or done or been a part of. But if you could just give us a broad view of what are some of the things that happen in the daily life of an FBI agent or the agency that saves lives that the citizens of this country don't know, can't recognize, or be appreciative of?
Terrorist attacks. I'll give you one that was actually in the news. There was I believe it was the governor of Michigan. A few years ago, there was a plot to kidnap her. And through investigative means, the FBI were able to infiltrate this particular group. And with that, I believe there was an informant, and he told his handler, they get the information, they make sure it's credible. Yeah, this is legit. We got to go and protect or arrest these people before they kidnap this governor. And they went and did that before, and I'm sure the people, the actors, the bad actors involved, they had no idea what was happening when the FBI hit their door and was like, hey, the gig's up, we know what you guys are about to do, and all those guys got charged. Like, so it's little things like that. It'll be a bomb. You might have a person who wants to incite chaos and have a bomb and shoot people, and then you get a tip. You look into it, you do what you do, and you figure out where they live, you do your surveillance, you figure out a pattern of life, and it's like, all right, what's the best time to take a course of action to arrest or take down this individual? And you do that, and for the most part, our missions are successful, and then you're just like, yeah, but we don't sit down, we don't talk in front of a camera, And to me, that's the coolest thing. Like they're not looking for success. They're not looking for their name in the paper or a camera. They're just doing it just because it's the right thing to do. I'm saving lives. I'm protecting lives. You know, ever since 9/11, like the mission has changed. Like we got to protect the homeland. And when you like legit do it, you're protecting the homeland, and you see what this person was trying to do, and then you actually can save those lives and get it before it actually happens. Kind of like a Minority Report. You're just like, hell yeah, like we just rescued this lady who was being held against her will out of a house. Like that's something we did. Is we got a tip one day and it was like, hey, this person's being held against her will. Come up with a plan. And it's like, all right, well, what do we do? All right, where they live at? This, and you're trying to figure out, all right, let's do a mock-up of the house. Let's do the mock-up of the house, and let's do runs. What I mean by runs is like a walkthrough, and you walk through how you're going to take the house. All right, I'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, hit it, go. All right, switch up the order. All right, I'll be 2, just switch up the order. All right, I'm the 5th man in, switch up the order. All right, and you just have all these contingencies that are in place if something bad happens, or just if something doesn't go as planned, which it always does, and you just got to be able to react. Joe and I, we used to talk about this. It's performance on demand. Like you got to be in that job. It's like a firefighter. It's performance on demand. You don't get to warm up. You don't get to, well, let me get a couple practice shots in to make sure my aim is on. Like it's something that you have to do right now. You're 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, midnight, 11 o'clock right now. You got to go. The active shooter in Highland Park, that was 3 years ago, 4th of July. I was at home. Highland Park's probably 15 minutes from here. Got a phone call, looked at it. I called my TL. I called Carl. I said, hey, man, I think there's an active shooter going on right now. I'm not. So he made a phone call. He called me back. And he's like, hey, deploy, get there now. I get there. Everything had kind of taken place. And then, you know, it's bodies. And then, I mean, it was a pretty gruesome scene. I'll spare you all the details. It was a pretty gruesome scene. But then it's like, all right, let's go. This is what we've been training for. Like, let's go find a guy that did this.
Right. You mentioned performance on demand, right?
Yeah.
The NFL and the FBI, 2 very different 3-letter leagues. But there's some overlap.
Absolutely.
Right? In terms of discipline, structure, preparation. Your time in the NFL, how did the habits you created in the NFL help you be successful over at the Bureau?
Processing information quickly. What I mean by that, and DBs, linebacker, you know what I'm saying, okay, I look at the formation, okay, I'm 8 yards off, we're in this man, okay, let me do my back pedal, I'm gonna take 2 steps, I'm trying to clear the 3-step, okay, once I clear the 3 steps, he's back into a 5-step, okay, 5-step, he's only can run so many routes in a 5, like, as the play is going on, I'm processing this information. When we do our runs, we kick indoors, when we do our CQB, I'm going into a house that I've never been before a day in my life, like, and I have to process it as soon as I get in the door. If I'm the number 1 man, I go left. Number 2 man goes right. Number 3, clears the center, but he clears it from, you know, right to left. The number 4 man clears it from left to right. And then we do our primary scan, our secondary scan, back to center. I got no work. Hey, where are my danger areas? Do I have an object in front of me? Do I do a route extension? Hey, left's clear, center clear, danger area left, move. We move in the room. We go to the next door. Fill 1, fill 2. I got my breacher. I got my number 1 guy ready, on you. Open the door, boom. And you just do it all over again. And you're constantly just reading that room. And you do it enough to where you get good, and you get really good with the flow of how you do things. Mm-hmm. You know, how you can do it at an HR speed. And it's kind of, maybe I am crazy. It's fun because you get really good at how to fight in rooms.
Nut. Football's fun.
Yeah.
If I miss this tackle, I see him make it. Back there, he might get 8 more yards. We good.
Absolutely.
Chad, if he score a touchdown, got another drive.
Go get him off it.
Yeah,
You're talking about this like you can get your ass shot and killed.
You can, yeah. You can 100% get shot and killed. We're really good at what we do.
But have you ever walked in somewhere and been like, oh no, hell no. Them motherfuckers in there, they in there going. Cause I tell all
yes,
service
I have.
members.
I have. When I didn't have the tactics, when I didn't have the training, when I didn't know how to do certain things, 100%, I could think like that. But having the training, so I literally went to, what's the name of the school? Mid-South. I went to Mid-South. It's in Mississippi. It's just like one of the #1 shooting schools in the country. And they sent me and a bunch of other guys, and we went there I think I went there for a week for their level 1 firearms. And all we did was just shoot for 5 days. And they just teach you how to get good at this shooting like that was all we did. And then you go to another school and you just learn CQB. And you're learning from like the top dogs. And they come down and they teach you and you're just like, okay. And then I would come back here and then I would, myself and a couple of other instructors, like we would teach the Chicago division, or I would go somewhere else and teach other people. I've been to Kenya and I've taught CQB tactics. Like it's no different than being a coach. You know how they have all these internships with coaches and stuff? Like same thing with FBI. Like I went overseas and I taught some people how to be better shooters, how to be better fighters in rooms, how to protect themselves so they can protect their citizens of their country.
But the thing I want to know is, and I love the parallel that Fred drew to the NFL and FBI, and Channing saying, hey, the difference is, though, these are life and death matters, right? It's not just about wins and losses. Also in football, early on in your career, you don't really have a conversation about how things are going to go. Mm-hmm. Right, what you're going to be told to do. And then later in your career, you can talk to your coach and say, nah, coach, I don't like that coverage, or I feel like this might be better for the team in the leadership role. But it feels like it would be different in the FBI. And so when you're asked to do something that doesn't sit right with you, you're asked to do something that isn't part of your constitution as a man, how do you deal with those situations when the job is so important, but also continuing to be the man you are is important as well?
So one of the reasons, let me start off by saying this. FBI was great to me. I did awesome. I worked with an amazing group of individuals. I think some of the things that they're doing now, I personally didn't agree with.
Like what?
Immigration. Like I didn't agree with how the administration came in and tried to make individuals do things against it didn't sit right. An example being immigration, right? Everybody was told you're gonna go after like the most dangerous criminals. But what you see on TV and what actually was happening is like people weren't going after that. And personally, that didn't sit right with me. That didn't sit right with my conscience. Like, you have the ability to refuse an order. Like, just because they say go arrest this person, like, okay, yeah, you're my superior. Like, I don't have to go do that. You can't make me go do that. I'm not in the military. You gave me an order, but I can totally refuse that order. At the end of the day, I want to be on the right side of history when it's all said and done. Do I think they're individuals in the organization, do they like doing some of the stuff that they're doing? Absolutely not. I think they hate it. I think I was in a different position because of my previous career. I made enough money to where I could just walk away and say, you know what, guys? I'm okay. I think I'm good. My first 8 years, I've been solid. We were doing some good things. Some of the stuff you guys are doing now, I don't necessarily agree with. And that's not in Chicago. That comes from Washington. And I left in good terms with people and my friends, and I don't have like a sour taste or bitter taste in my mouth about the FBI. I learned a lot. They taught me a good skill, and I was looking at the Obama pivot that you all did, and this holds true. And he said, "Don't ever think that you don't belong at a table."
Yep.
So when I went to the academy, I was a little intimidated. I ain't even gonna lie to you. You know, I'm sitting next to somebody that went to Harvard, and I'm sitting next to this lawyer, and I'm just like, damn, I'm just from Coppers Cove, Texas, trying to, I got a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in emergency management. It ain't nothing in law or like Harvard. But when you apply yourself and you doing all the things that all the other people are doing from all these prestigious, these very prestigious institutions, and I sit right there with them, and I'm like, I'm killing it just like you. And you went to Harvard and you don't know how to do this. Are you serious? And it just made me think like, oh man, why did I ever doubt myself? Why did I ever doubt myself? I can do this job. I can do that job or this job or your job or whatever. At least I can do these jobs. Like, just don't ever doubt yourself. And that was something, when he said that was the first thing I thought about, was when I went to the FBI Academy. I sat back and I actually doubted myself, because I was like, damn, okay, FBI, you got scientists and you got accountants and you got the upper echelon of smart individuals. Oh man, I'm good.
Is Quantico like the TV show?
No. I didn't particularly like Quantico because to me, it felt fake. It felt fake in the sense of, you got to think, I went in at 36. So I'm older, I've had a career. I know how to talk to people. And the biggest thing that I noticed was individuals didn't know how to talk. You got to be able to talk to people to get information. And it's not a secret. It's just like, hey, Chan, what's going on? How you feeling, man? How you do? Depending on who the person I'm talking to, I'm going to switch up my language. I can kind of code switch a little bit to help, the situation so we can communicate. Okay, if it's somebody on, a different part of town, okay, I might use a little bit of slang. Okay, if I got a business guy, okay, I might not use the slang. I might use these types of words. You just kind of, we used to say, you, me, same. So, all right, whoever I'm trying to work with or talk to, well, let me implement some of what they're doing. If he's sitting like that, okay, I'm gonna sit like that. And I'm just gonna mirror him, and we gonna dialogue, and we gonna communicate. Yeah, okay, yeah. You learn all these different techniques to help you engage with individuals as you speak to them. And it's just one of those things that I actually took that in life. I can use that in life, talking to you guys, talking just to individuals. And it's I learned a lot of good skills, man, when I worked there. It was good.
That was a bold decision to leave the Bureau, I believe. Yeah. And it made me go back to your Players Tribune letter, the letter to your younger self, when you basically, talked about how you moved around and was kind of telling yourself, these moves are gonna make you resilient, much like that decision. One, I wanna kind of get into a little bit of, those moves, being a military kid, but I also wanna ask you, because the photo in the Tribune, did you tell your younger self to avoid that barber? Because he chopped you up, bro.
Can I see the picture?
I was talking about, that's a bad picture, bro.
He chopped you up, bro.
Oh.
You smooth and the dreads was smooth, the locks, but he got you.
Check it. So I lived in Einzeltum, Germany, right? And where we lived at in Germany, we lived in a small German town, and it was a nuke base. My dad worked at this nuclear base in Germany, and it was super small. So it wasn't like the traditional military bases that you see today. It was super small. So my dad cut my hair. All the dads cut their boys' hair because it was so far to go get haircuts, to go to the grocery store. So my pops had to cut my hair. Now, at the time, hey, that's Germany. That's like the
They don't
late
really know.
80s, 90s.
Yeah.
Right.
I was fresh.
I was fresh because everybody else had looked the same way.
And then you a military dad, you ain't telling him too much.
Yeah.
Ain't no back talking.
Everybody
ain't none of that.
everyone hair was the same way. But don't sleep on the female German barbers. I used to get chopped up by a German woman. All the MPs, all the little GIs, they used to come in there, and these German barbers, they used to get up and just
Ready to go.
and they would hook you up. Now they didn't do a razor line, but for you to get free like that, they could do that all day. Maybe with not a razor. They could, I swear to you, they could do that all day long. Hit you with, you know what I'm saying, with a little even Steven. They could hook it up. You just had to do with what you had. That was all we had to work with. So from kindergarten to 12th grade, I went to 12 different schools. And 3rd grade, 3 schools, 6th grade, 3 schools. Sometimes I was in school a year. Sometimes I was in school 6 months. It just depended. It just depended on where my dad was or where we were going. And I actually enjoyed it. I enjoyed every minute of the schools that we went to, whether it was down south, on the West Coast, in Germany, the Midwest. Like, to me, it was fun. It was an adventure. And I remember talking to a kid on the south side, and we're at my granny crib, and they were like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Oh yeah, we finna go to Germany." I'm like, "Germany?" I'm like, "Yeah, you ain't never been?" And to me, it was normal because all of my military friends, they had all lived in other countries. They lived in France. They had lived in Italy. So to us, all that was normal, like all the traveling. But I was talking to a kid, and they had never even left the state. And I'm just like, how you ain't never left the state? You ain't never left the city? Like, you ain't even never been downtown? Like, damn, what's wrong with you? But in your mind as a child, like, I couldn't process that. To me, it was foreign. Like, everyone goes to Germany, everyone travels, because it was all I knew. I was born into it. So for me, it was a normal thing for me to live overseas and have friends and try to learn different languages and talk and learn all these new things. To me, that was a normal thing.
I mean, you couldn't write in cursive in 3rd grade. That's pretty bad.
Mr. Pincher, that was his name. I went to South. I went to this school called South, Mr. Pincher. And I was in Fort Riley, Kansas. And at that particular time, we didn't start cursive. It was like the next semester. And then I go to Ohio. I went to Urbana, Ohio. I got a story about that. I go to Urbana, Ohio. And he's like, all right, yeah, we're writing in cursive. I was like, I know about it, but Miss Wolf at my old school, she ain't taught us shit. It's on the lesson plan, but that's for next semester. That's in the springtime. We in the fall, boss. So he put a damn alphabet sticker, and I had to get it on the go. That was the one bad thing about school was if one school was doing something that the other school wasn't and you hadn't started it, I was behind. Math, oh my God. I couldn't tell you how many times I cried doing multiplication or division. When I went to Miss Harold's class in 3rd grade and she was like, get on the board. And I was like, I don't know my times tables like that to do the division. So I would like 1 times 1, 2, or 5 times 1. And I would do the whole thing. And she would just sit up there and everyone's looking at you. Oh, bro, that was the worst. That was the worst doing that in her class. Like, God dang.
Did it build something in you? Because it's funny to correlate, like you're saying, in any room you can talk. Like you're saying, we all do. I tell you, I do. I speak for myself.
Yeah.
If I'm sitting there with corporate dudes, I talk differently.
Absolutely.
I'm with the homeboys and cooking barbecue on the back porch.
Absolutely.
I talk differently. There's an old saying, the military kids are weird. Because you don't really get a group to be with and all that. Did you ever feel like almost like an outcast going into a situation? Because you're American, now you're in Germany, you don't speak the language,
so
you can't do cursive. Like,
I felt like an outcast when I wasn't around military brats or military kids.
yeah.
I remember coming here in like 3rd or 6th grade. I had just came from Germany. And I go to a school in the South Side. This is my voice. My dad, didn't let us use certain words around the house. I was like, yeah, me and Ryan what'd you say? Sorry, Ryan and I are about to go to the store and we're about to, so my pops would correct me. When I went to Chicago and I started talking, and all the kids, they from the city, why you sound like that? You sound like a white boy. Why you talk white? Why you do this? Why you do that? I was like, what you talking about? That's how I talk. Like, I can't, what y'all doing right there, I can't do that in my house. My pops don't stand for that. I have to say, and I speak in a certain way. He demands that. Like, I have to do that. And I just grew up doing that. It was what I knew. It was second nature. And then having kids, when my kids would say certain, what'd you say? And I'm not even in the military, but it was the foundation for me. Well, no, we gonna sound like we got some sense. And we gonna talk and we gonna speak a certain way. And we gonna do things a certain way. Like, prime example, we just came from a family reunion in Texas. And my youngest we were finna go on the plane and she had this bonnet. I was like, okay, we finna leave, hey, I'm cool with you wearing a bonnet, but you won't wear this thing out in public.
Straight up.
You ain't wearing this bonnet out in public. But even on the plane, no ma'am.
Yep.
When you need to be in the house and put your bonnet on, by all means, wear the bonnet. Wear it all day, go outside, in the back, play, do you, boo. But when you with me, when you were with Pops, you will not be wearing that bonnet because I think you need to look a certain way when you leave your house. And I'm not even saying you got to be all dolled up, but you won't be with a bonnet with me. My biggest pet peeve, America, my biggest pet peeve is when I see bonnets in public. In airports, that's just my personal thing. Like, I can't do it, ladies. I'm sorry. Like that's just.
To your point about children, we're all girl dads.
Yeah.
Right? And
I got 3 of them.
Yeah, so we've all raised, young women, and there's a different connection.
Yeah.
Like, it just is. Like, I love Jordan. Me and Jordan have conversation. That's my son. We could talk. Me and Jordan could not talk. And I'm like, I know he's okay. Mm-hmm. If I don't talk to my girls, they're older. If I don't talk to my girls for a couple of days, hey, baby, how you doing?
Yeah.
Just want to tell you I love you. I'm thinking of you, right? And for you, your daughter needed a heart. She needed a heart transplant. And you went through finding out she needed that transplant. You went through her getting the transplant and then the recovery. As a father, how difficult was it to deal with the entire journey of knowing that your baby could die and being there for as a dad?
It was a beautiful experience. It was a scary experience. It was a sad experience. It was a lonely experience. I mean, there were so many emotions in that time when she got sick. And I remember the first day when the doctor said, she goes, hey, there's a chance your daughter might die. So you might, because I was just like real cool, real calm, trying not to cry. I was like, we good. And she must have thought I was a little too calm. And she says, hey, it's a chance she might die. So you might want to call some people. Because this is like, I don't think you understand, like, hey, this is like really bad. She might not make it through the night. So I was like, okay. And then we had a friend, Sarah Buckley was there. So I said, hey, watch her real quick. And I went to the bathroom and just lost it. Cried my little heart out. Hard. And I got on the phone and I called my dad. And I was like, yo, they say she's finna die. And I'm like, and I was just like, they say she's finna die. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. And he said, hey, son, calm down. Here's what you got to do. Be strong. Take care of your family. I'm on a plane. I'll be there tonight. And I was like, all right. And it was all he said was like, hey, be calm. Go take care of your family. So I got to take care of her family. I'm trying to take care of Jackie. I'm trying to be cool. And then I only had another daughter, one other kid at the time. We get to the hospital and they immediately put her like in this paralytic. They put her in a coma, self-induced coma. And we're there and we're trying to understand all these big words that they're expressing to you. And you just feel helpless. Like, we all have made enough money, so if something's wrong, like, you can just go buy something or fix this or do that. It wasn't nothing money could do. And for the first time in my life, I felt helpless as a dad. Because as men, you know, you're a protector. You want to be able to provide and protect for your kids. And I was still somewhat fairly a new dad because my oldest was 2. So I had only been a dad 2 years. So that part was tough because I didn't feel like a man. I didn't feel like I was doing my job. 1, as a man, 2, as a husband, 3, as a dad. So that part was hard to deal with. The other part about the whole thing was, in order for her to live, your kid got to die or your kid got to die. Mm-hmm. You love your girls just as much as I love mine, right?
Yeah.
So I felt...
What's that prayer like, though, when you're praying for your daughter's life?
There was no prayer. I didn't say I stopped believing in God. I just didn't know how to pray for a heart. Because how do I ask God for a heart? But your baby got to die. Somebody has to die in order for your child to live. And I felt very conflicted praying, asking for a heart. It didn't make sense to me. And I got a phone call from Jared Baldwin, my college head coach.
He recruited me at LSU.
Okay, yeah. So Baldwin calls me, and he was a pastor. And he calls me, and we have a discussion, and he just was like, and I expressed to him the story I just told. And he goes, look, Peanut, I don't have all the answers, but I do know one thing. You know how your coordinator, they got faith in you to lock down that number 1 receiver, and they got faith in you to come up with the game plan, and you travel with this guy and you do your thing? He was like, yeah. He was like, well, think of God like in the same manner. You know, he's the coordinator, but at the same time, you know, you got to put faith in him to go lock this situation down. Think about you being a coordinator, and he's got to lock this situation down. Put your faith in your coordinator, or put your faith in the player, and he gonna take care of everything for you. It's in his plan. He got it. Just trust me on this. And I just remember sitting there thinking like, okay. He put it in like the most simplest football analogy, and I was able to understand what he was preaching or what he was saying. And that day, I started praying. That day, I started praying for a heart. And it happened to us twice. We were in the room, and they said, hey, we got a heart. We're going to go get it. We're waiting. And then probably about 5-6 hours into it, they say, yeah, it wasn't a good match. We had to decline it. And I remember watching Jackie she kind of like melted to the ground. And I felt so helpless. I felt so helpless in that moment. Just like, okay, it wasn't right. There's something gonna shake. And then maybe a month or 2 later, I was asleep. The doctor calls me. He's like, hey, I got great news. We got a heart. And I was like, hell yeah. Shit. Somebody died. Like, I'm waiting for this moment. Like, and as happy as I was in like a second, it all just left my body, and I was filled with like sadness because I wanted to know about the donor heart or the donor baby or the donor family. And it's this weird, like, yeah, she's getting a heart. Damn, somebody died. And then it goes away. And then they're prepping her for surgery, and you're like, yeah, she's gonna get a heart. Yes. Damn, this is someone's worst day of their life. They're grieving the loss of their baby. So it was a great day, but it was also a sad day because I was up and down. And to this day, I'll still listen to her heart. You know, I'll sit there and just listen to it sometimes. And this baby Armando was the donor, and I got his name tatted under my watch right here. He was like 3, I think it was about 3 or 4 months himself, and he had passed. But I'm thankful that his mom were able to donate his organs, because her decision alone blessed us, blessed more families. And because of that, we started our foundation, the Cornerstone Foundation, Charles Truman Cornerstone Foundation. And through her original blessing of just saying yes, and then what our foundation has been able to do to bless other families in the greater Chicago area, in the Carolinas, in the Charlotte area, like it truly has been a blessing, a godsend, and I can't think of life any other way. To me, it was just like our new normal. When she had her new heart and her zipper and, taking to get the doctor to get meds and blood draws, like to us, it was just normal.
We've done a couple hundred shows, over 300. I don't know how many. But I can tell you hands down, and I'm not just saying it because you're here, but that's my absolute favorite story since we started, man. God is so good, bro.
Yeah.
Man, wow. I'm sitting here thinking about John Q and different scenes in the movie. You got your highs and
literally
your
a John
lows.
Q moment.
You know what I'm saying?
It was literally a John Q moment. Like, I would have did anything. Hey, take me.
Right.
My boy is going to live. My boy will bury me. Yes, I felt the same way Denzel did in that movie.
But you received the heart. She received the heart, but you weren't out the woods. Like, at what moment does a parent really get opportunity to relax? Like,
You
all right.
don't, because it's gonna happen again. At some point, I'll have to do the whole thing again. And it's even scarier now because she's 17. She plays flag football. She's on the dive team, wrestling team. She's done all these things.
normal.
She's a normal kid. She just takes meds twice a day, morning and at night, every 12 hours. But at some point, unless medicine changes, and it's evolved, but she's 17 years post-transplant. And I hope I'm wrong, but she will have to get another transplant at some point in time. And you have to do the whole thing all over again. Right. And I don't know how I'm gonna do it this time because...
Are there stats? Does it become harder the older you get versus the
So there's no rhyme or reason to how long a heart will go. You can get a heart today and
not in terms of the heart, but in terms of being a recipient, like finding donors.
Yeah, so as you get older, it gets harder because when you're younger, your immune system, if you're under a year, your immune system isn't fully developed. So you can get any heart. So that was what she did. She got, I think she's AB, but she's got a B positive or A negative heart. Mm-hmm. So you get more opportunity. As you get older, okay, she's 17, she's AB, so okay, that limits it. She has to get she has to get an AB heart or an AB organ or heart. She'll have to get the same exact blood type, which narrows it down even more because she's 17, her immune system's developed, right? So that makes it even harder. Mm-hmm. Then it has to be not necessarily in the age range. It's just you're just looking for a healthy heart. You're looking for it has to be in comparison to somewhat what your heart looks like as far as the size. So it definitely does get harder as you get older.
Wow.
Damn. You win a Super Bowl. I mean, you go to a Super Bowl, you lose. I'm sorry, you didn't win it. I apologize.
Ouch!
My bad.
Damn.
Because
cut that?
Because I won one.
Can we cut that from
because I won one, I be thinking other people won one, but then I realized I'm sitting in a room with people who haven't.
Let's jump in.
I'm just
Three of us, we
Easy work right now.
You play. You guys get to the Super Bowl.
Which one?
Well, you went in Carolina too, but you were injured. I'm talking about the one 06 against Indianapolis.
7.
One of the best defenses of our era. Urlacher, Briggs, just high level play. But you spoke glowingly about Marvin Harrison and what you learned that night, what it taught you throughout your career. When you get to the pinnacle and you fall slightly short, how difficult was it for you and your teammates to deal with that loss, especially with Urlacher saying, remember the feeling because we'll be back?
I still ain't got over that Super Bowl. To this day, I've yet to watch that game all the way through. I've seen clips, but I have yet to watch that game all the way through because it's that painful, because I was that close to getting my ring. I hate the Super Bowl. I hate February. I absolutely hate it. We go every year because I do our podcast with the NFL Player Second Act with Roman Harper. And he be cheesing because he got his ring with the Saints and everyone got their rings on. And I just be like, God dang it. I got 2 loser rings. I got 2 NFC Championship rings. I went to school with Ike, and I'm just like, damn.
Yeah.
We done lost all these games at UL, and I think Ike got 2 rings.
I got 2 of them.
Like, what do I have to do? I bust my butt. I worked so hard. I did all the things the right way. I didn't smoke weed. I didn't go to this party. I turned this down. I went to bed early.
I created a move.
I did all the things.
Right.
And I couldn't get, it still hurts to this day. To this day! To this day! I still ain't got over it.
You made a football move. The football's been around forever. The peanut punch.
It's kind of tight, though. I like it.
You have records. You've set records for forced fumbles, all that. They used to show us videos of you. Just do what Peanut does. You think that's it? I gotta wrap up. These motherfuckers is big. I can't just go punching out. You still upset about losing, bro? You good. You know you're famous.
No, man. It's the championship. Like I wanted the ring. I've never won a championship in anything. Nothing in high school, nothing in basketball, nothing in track when I was good in track or triple jump. Like I've never did anything at a championship level. Even though I practiced and I had the work ethic, I've never received a championship of any sort. Like never. I don't know what that feels like. And I'm just like, damn. Like I went to the finals. I saw the Golden State. No, I'm not Golden State. I saw the Raptors when they won it and they beat Golden State. And I was like, damn, that's cool how they celebrate. And there's actually video of me and Nate Vash as we're walking off the field. And Nate's just looking at him. He was like, man, I'm just trying to see how they celebrate. I'm just trying to see how they do. And I was just like, I couldn't even say nothing, but I like that feeling when you've bust your butt at off season and then months later, you can turn around and all that work we put in, the process, the running, the lifting, the sweating, and then we get to celebrate and we get to hoist this trophy up, whether it's high school or NFL, whatever. I think that's the pinnacle of sports. That's why you play it. That's why you play the game. And I've never done that. And it's so frustrating to this day. To this day, I'm still frustrated over it. I can't get over it.
How frustrating is it that you have to go through a really illustrious 13-year career as an individual, the things you did accomplish as a team, and know that you probably dropped 2 interceptions that kept you from being the only human ever that could say, I had 40 plus forced fumbles and 40 interceptions to put me in a 40-40 club that would have to be named the Peanut Club because I'd be the only person in it.
During football season, that's the only time I think about it. During football season or when I see someone drop a pick, or if someone plays a highlight or something and it's a PBU and I'm like, all I had to do was just put another hand up there. Instead of doing this, I literally just could have did this. Duh. And then you think you're just like, I'm such an idiot. Oh my God, how did I not think that? Yeah, it pisses you off. I get mad. I get mad at myself every time. But it only happens during football season though. That's the only time I get mad at myself. If it's off season, I could care less. I don't think about it. But once I turn football on and we start watching football plays, damn, I get mad. That's where it all comes back like, ugh. But yeah, I think about that often. I had a buddy of mine, he was just like, man, if you get, because I was chasing it. Like I was chasing that goal. Like I forget these forced fumbles. I need 2 picks. I want these 2 picks. I was chasing it, and I just, at least in year 13, I was just like, I couldn't get it. I didn't have the opportunities like I thought. But yeah, man, it hurts.
The punch though, because that's what, if you say your name, that's what everybody talks about. How you can get that ball out. Was it something, is that God-given? Because people try to rip at the ball all the time.
Right.
We all try to rip at the ball, but we wasn't getting out like you getting out.
Hell, nobody ever did.
It was honestly, it was a combination of talent, but I think a lot of it's just hand-eye coordination. A lot of it was hand-eye coordination. So I started boxing just so I could, obviously, being press man and stuff like the footwork and everything. So I started boxing, but really just working on like my hand speed. And when I was in college, we played Wolford. When I was at UL, we played Wolford College. They ran like a triple option. I played safety. All I did was just run the alley. They didn't have a blocker for me. And my job was pitch. Whole week was like, whatever you do, you the safety, just take the pitch. Just go hit him in the mouth. Bet, coach, I got that. I ran the alley the whole game. Ran by the quarterback and just hit the running back in his mouth the whole game. My D coordinator from high school, Rodney Southern, he came to the game and he goes, if you just would have swiped at the ball, you know how many forced fumbles you could have had? I was like, oh, snap. It was like a light bulb went off. And you can ask anybody that went to school with me, you can ask Ike. I was so good at it, I would purposely take bad angles and run a guy down, secure the tackle, and then I would punch it out. I would purposely take a terrible pursuit angle because I was like, all right, if I just tackle them, they're going to get the ball back, they might score. Nah, I'm going to take a bad angle. I'm going to let them get in front of me, and then I'm fast enough, and I'm going to just run behind them, and I'm going to just punch the ball out. Like, literally did it all the time in college. For, like, the last 3 years of college, that was all I did. I would just take a bad angle and then just punch the ball out because I knew I was good at it.
Right.
Fast forward to the league, bro, we all fast. Running backs, DNs, offensive line, like tight ends, everybody fast. So, all right, I got to figure out a way to do this thing and get it out and not take a bad angle. So literally my very first NFL snap, we played at the old Candlestick. We played San Francisco. And I was a gunner, running down the field using my hands, and guy didn't see me. I overran it. I came back around, and I punched at it, and oh yeah, we got some.
Dang.
We got
Just
something.
like that.
Just like that. I got something. And I knew it. I was like, oh, I could play with them. On my first one, okay. Then it was just like, okay, I see you running the ball. Now I gotta like, okay, am I good enough to just like punch that thing and make the tackle? Like as he's running like head up to me? Let's try it. Because all the other ones, they had been like from the side and from the back. So then it was just like, all right, let's go. Let me see if I can do this. I know when I'm punching it, and it's the timing of, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here. Like, when do you have to punch? So I was always like I'm looking at his arm and I'm like, okay, wait now. And I would just like throw my punch at the last possible second. But when you throw it,
What did they run you
Fred,
over?
you got to commit.
Right.
Pettigrew from Detroit, the tight end, legit. I'm looking at the ball. The only thing I am thinking about is the ball. That's the only thing that matters. And as I'm punching it, he is stiff-arming me in the face. And we're going back like this. And the ball is going out. And the best thing about that was, and this is probably one of my favorite punches, or actually two, because I got him on back-to-back plays. I got him back-to-back. Like the first time he ran, boom. And he was like, all right. And then ran the same exact play, except he was like, they dumped it to him and he just ran like a little flat route. And he saw me, was like, yeah, And I was just like, running, punch. And as I punched, he stiff-armed the shit out of me. My head went back like he mushed me. My head went back, but I punched the arm. You know what I'm saying? I got the ball out. And then I was on my back and he was on top of me, but the ball's over there and we got the ball. And I was like, cool. It must, you know what I'm saying? I sacrificed my body. I sold out for the team, but it worked. But I just got really good at knowing where to punch. Like, that's the key. You got to know where to punch, and you got to punch with a purpose. There has to be intention around it. Guys just go in and just do this, and it don't come out. If me and you boxing, and you do this, I'm not gonna punch you right here. I'm gonna punch you on the side of the face. I might punch
I'm glad you mentioned
your
that.
ribs. Like, I'm gonna do something different.
This is crazy. I'm glad you mentioned if me and you punching. I think the peanut punch is the only thing pre-2011.
Yeah.
Before they changed all the rules. that's the only thing they allow physical in today's game. They allow it, but that's a whole nother story. We played Chicago, and similar situation. You ran up on me and you punched the shit out of me.
My bad.
He missed the ball,
My bad,
man?
yo, my bad.
Hey, I'm about to get up and fight. Like, hold on, man. The fuck this cornerback doing? But you was the only one corner that was as physical as you were, bro. And I always respected you from those moments that we butted heads, which were very few. But when Spice left, he was telling me about another moment, some punching was going on, but it didn't involve you. You got a penalty because you went to save a teammate. Jeremy Trueblood allegedly was under the pile beating the shit out of Wale.
Yes. Yeah.
And he said you came to the rescue.
So we always talk about team, right? Everyone talks about team. Don't let no one do this. Fight them like you're, take it not too personal, but hey, protect your teammates. It was a third down, or actually it was a fourth down. We're walking off the field, and Trueblood is just on top of Wale. Wale on the ground like this. Like, Wale is on the ground like this. Trueblood is just, motherfucker, kind of like on Harlem Nights, when she's sitting on top of her. I told you to respect me, keep my name out your... So it's literally looking like that. And I saw it, and I just took off. And I mean, I hit the shit out of Trueblood. I hit him hard. I just, boom. And then Michael Clayton, LSU, he turns and he sees me. And then I'm finna go at it with Trueblood, and then Clayton, he hits me like blindsides. I was like, oh no, now I'm seeing red. I got nothing but rage. It's the same year my daughter was in the hospital with all that stuff. So now I get to take some of this anger that I have built up, stored inside me. And his arm was like this. I ain't never told the story on camera before, but his arm was legit like this. And I went to chop his arm to break his damn elbow, and Alex Brown saved his life. Alex Brown grabbed me so quick. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing?
You never grabbed the homie.
Yeah.
You never grabbed the homie.
And I was like, I was finna break his arm. I'm legit finna break his arm. I went for the chop and everything, because he had all his weight like this. And I was literally finna I went straight, and Alex, I'm still mad at Alex to this day.
But bye-bye Walter Payton Man of the Year, though.
Yeah.
Do that.
Yeah, maybe that. He got me. But I was protected. It was all from a teammates. But the best thing that came out of that, though, Olin Kreutz.
Crazy.
Great teammate. Amazing teammate. He just goes, hey, you got my respect, cuz, like, hey, you about that life. Like, I appreciate you. Hey, it's about the team. You saw something, he's doing something to the team. No different than what the offensive lineman do with the quarterback. Same exact thing. Same
I have a
exact
question.
thing.
If you're such a good teammate, why would you play that prank on, what is it, Bob?
Babbage?
Yeah, why would you do that?
Oh, man. I'm the team prankster, baby.
So what'd you do?
So I love Star Wars. My dad grew up with Star Wars. He turned me on to Star Wars. So Step Brothers. Y'all all seen the movie Step Brothers? Remember, there's a scene in the movie where John C. Reilly is like sitting in his underwear with a damn shirt on it, and he's got the Chewbacca outfit, and Will Ferrell got the night vision goggles. And I was just like, that looks so dope. So I bought the night vision goggles, and I bought the Chewbacca outfit. I was just a big rich kid, right? So I buy it, and I was just like, man, it's Halloween time. And I was like, man. So Todd Johnson was our safety. We all lived in the same block. And I was like, damn. Yeah. Sarasota. So I say, you know what? I gotta scare Babbage. So I knock on Todd. I go call Todd, walk over to his crib. He's like, come on, let's go. So I told his wife, Nancy, I say, look, Nancy, just let me know when he's on his way home. She lets me know, she calls me. We post up on the side of Bob's house. And me and Tilo are like, are you ready? I was like, yeah, I think I'm ready. I'm trying to put the gloves on. And he opened the door, the garage door goes up. And then his dog kind of came running out, and he sticks his key in the door. And I probably paid about $700 for this outfit, for this costume. It's legit. I got the fake fur and everything. And the head makes me look an extra foot taller. Man, I ran up on him and I went, And he just went, oh! Like, he got in the smallest ball because he just got so scared. And it was the funniest thing. So then we take it to work, and Dan Toohey, our film guy, he put like the Michael Myers music on, and we played it for the whole team, and he was just like,
No, we got to see this video.
he was like, I think I got it for you. He was just like, you mother, But there's another one though. So Rivera, so I go to Carolina. We're 12-1. We had just lost our first game to Atlanta. And everybody, I call it everyone got tight. Everyone just was like, butthole got tight. They just clammed up for whatever reason. I don't know if I can say that, but that's just what it was. Everyone was just walking like this. So Shula, Coach Shula was our OC. He told a story about the 72 Dolphins and they did something with this alligator. So, all right, cool. I go on Pinterest or not Pinterest, one of these websites, and I buy an alligator. I spent like $400. So first things first, you gotta pay top dollar for the props.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Drewski went top dollar when he played the white guy.
Man,
Yeah.
He didn't just half-ass it. He went
Hollywood.
all the way in.
Yeah.
If you're gonna play a prank, you got to go top dollar. So I probably paid about $400 for this alligator. It comes, I get to work hella early. I get to work early at like 5. I put this fake alligator, in his office or in his shower. So I go get Roman Harper and Kurt Coleman. And I was like, what you doing? I was like, man, I just put this alligator. It's gonna be so tight. It's gonna be hilarious. And then as soon as I said that, he goes, who put this damn alligator in my shower? And as he said it, I was like, oh snap, Chico hot. He like really, I didn't even say coach. I was like, damn, Chico hot. And I was like, tell me, Peanut, you put this in my shower? And I was like, I can't lie. No, I'm a lie. Like I was so scared. I was like, damn, this is one of my jokes went too far. I can't shit. Yeah, it was me, coach. Get over here. You put this in my, and I was like, yeah, coach, I didn't. Then he goes, well, god dang, man, that thing is hilarious. That thing scared the shit out of me. Oh my God. Oh my, and I was just like, all right, my bad, coach. I thought you was hot. He was like, no. So the rest of the day, I scared everybody with this damn fake alligator, and it literally brought the mood back to how we were. We were like our old selves. And it was just like, that was just the one thing we needed, man. I'm a prankster by heart. I couldn't tell you how many times I pranked Spice. At some point, I have a folder in my phone of just me scaring people. It is it's so funny to me.
Something really wrong with dude, bro.
It's hilarious.
This is what happens when you move around.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, you like to
One
enjoy
of
it.
those kids. So check.
I scared you with the dog. I was like, watch Shay and watch him get all scared with my dog. Like, to me, that is, your fear is my funny.
Military brat.
Right.
Oh my God. Your fear is my funny.
So we everybody knows about the peanut punch. Now they just found out a little bit more about the peanut pranks.
Peanut pranks. Oh my God. That's a TV show.
Tell us about the peanut pivot, the biggest pivot. That's that moment you can look back on and say, without this happening or because this happened for me, I am because who I am.
I got a couple pivots, but I'll give you one in particular. I failed a math class in high school.
Sign me up.
I failed a math class in high school. And at the time when I failed this class, I was in a class with my best friend at the time, one of my best friends, Jason Adams. And we were just like, we're clowning around. I'm thinking my grades are good, but I'm having a good time with my boy. And I end up failing this math class in high school. I had never failed a class before, but I'm a junior, I think. Yeah, I'm a junior and I failed. And for the first time, I was ineligible to play football. Or no, I'm sorry, it wasn't during football season, it was during track season. So I had to sit out for 3 weeks and miss 3 practices. And I was like, I'm not the dumb kid. Like, I go to school, my grades are good. But I got too cool and confident in my skill, but I stopped doing the work. I stopped doing the work, and I just was kicking it in school. And we laughing, cracking jokes. Report card come out, I can't run. And one of my coaches sat me down and was like, you do realize, like, you're trying to go to college and play D1 ball. First thing coaches look at, how are his grades? And for the first time, that was when football felt like it wasn't possible. Because my whole goal in that life was still like, I gotta go to the league. I gotta go to the league. Ever since I was 5, I knew I had to go to the league. And I know what I gotta do. I'm on a mission, I'm good. And that right there changed my trajectory to who you see today. I graduated on time, I go to college. After my first semester, I met with my second semester, I met with my dean, I figured out my classes, I went to my room, I planned out the next 3 years of my life. I said, if I take this many hours, this many classes, I need this many hours to graduate. If I do this, take this in the summertime, take this in the spring, I carry 15 in the fall, I'll take 20, 21 in the spring, I'll take 9 in the summer. I can graduate in December of 02 because January 03, I'll be in a draft, I can train full time, I can move, I don't have to worry about training, doing papers, going back and forth to Lafayette. No, this is what I'm gonna do. So I planned out the next 3 years of my life, and I stuck to that schedule for the next 3 and a half years of my life. And then graduation came, I graduated on time, or I graduated a semester early. The spring came, I moved to Houston, I started training, did everything, went to the combine, did my thing, I get drafted. So yeah.
That's awesome.
By me failing that class, it made me wake up and think that, it let me know that my stuff don't stink, or my stuff, it made me realize that, I wasn't as good as I thought I was.
Can I ask like one football question before we go?
Yeah.
You played with all-time greats at different positions. The Kuechly's, the Urlachers, obviously one of, to me, the most talented, transcendent players at his position. You also played with Cam in his MVP year. Mm-hmm. Which player that was a teammate of Peanut Tillman do you think was the best player you ever played with?
I'll answer that in 2 parts. If I had to call somebody right now to go sit in a foxhole with me, and I know they're gonna performance on demand, be Lance Briggs. Lance was not the greatest practice player, but game time, I've never seen anybody just performance on demand. Like, he could go out and have like the world's worst practice, and he would give our DB or our linebacker coach a headache and an ulcer. It's like, Lance doesn't know. Come game day, Lance knows all his assignments. Lance, he knows everything. And when you come across the hole or whatever, he gonna knock your ass out.
That's crazy.
Every time.
They was banging.
He's the only player I've known who just was not a practice player. But came game day, he played like an all-pro every single Sunday. Every single Sunday. He is by far the first person I'm calling to sit in my foxhole with me all night, because I know he gonna show up. Forget the walkthrough, Lance. Go eat, chill, whatever, I don't care. When it's time to go, you gonna go. Other one, maybe Luke. And I say Luke because Brian is good. Brian was good. Luke, I had never seen.
Kuechly.
Yeah, Luke Kuechly. I had never seen him just call out the plays all the time. Like, Brian, he could call out a play here and there. Luke did it all the time. Like, and he was like, lead weak, lead weak, lead weak, hey, lead weak, lead weak. Oh, sorry, I got my dog. Hey, do me a favor, go back on the bed. Go back on the bed. Sorry. I like that though. That's funny to me how you got so scared. Humor,
He turned
hilarious.
red.
And he yelled.
Touch my knee.
But like Luke would go batshit crazy when he would recognize a play. And then it turns out he's right with the play. And you're just like, how does he? And all he did was he was great at his craft. And I was like watching film. And I try to tell a lot of young kids, like, man, it's all about the film. It ain't about the practice. They're telling you what they're doing. The play is telling you. You just gotta watch enough film to figure out what they're doing. And his ability is as great as y'all think I am at the peanut punch. I think he's like that with determining what offenses are going to run. Like his ability to do that, it's amazing. It's great.
Yeah, you had so much happen in your life. It's such an unfamiliar story to a great football player that we spent 45 minutes just talking about life. We couldn't even get to football, but the journey has been amazing. Somebody that's from Louisiana that knew you were at, University of Louisiana Lafayette with Ike T, Coach Baldwin, who recruited me, and then all the things you've done, whether it's football, post-career, being a father. Just kudos to you, man, for being a great representation of so many different communities that need to be shown as to what they can possibly be. We thank you for sitting with us, bro. Thank you for pivoting with us. And just best of luck in whatever you choose to do or continue to do throughout life.
I appreciate that. But I want to tell you one more story real quick. I meant to tell y'all this one story. So this is an FBI story. I figured you guys would get a kick out of this. So me and my guy, we're doing interviews, and I didn't bring like half my stuff with me. I didn't bring a vest. I ain't bring nothing. I brought like a pen and paper. We just doing interviews. We go to a couple pawn shops, ask a couple questions, and the phone goes off. It's like, hey, that fugitive that we were looking for, word got back that he's at his house on 123 Main Street. We look in the man, I was like, bro, that's right around the corner. I was like, okay, I ain't got my, like, I ain't bring my stuff. I'm still new. I'm still on probation. Like, I'm brand new. Yeah. So, and he got like a bad hip, leg or something. So I was just like, all right, this ain't gonna go well. So we pull up to the house, and as soon as we pull up to the house, the target, he's walking out of the house. And I'm looking like, that's him right there. That's him. And he's like, are you sure? I was like, bro, I'm telling you, 100%, full confidence, high confidence, that's him. And he was like, it's just us, we gotta take it. I was just like, all right. And I was sitting in the back seat, and I'm like on the radio, I was like, I'm texting the rest of the crew because the rest of the squads are coming to our location. I'm like, yo, positive, we got PID on our target. Hey, where y'all at? Because he's rolling. We're south on whatever street. So he gets in the car, we're following him. Now, we're in an unmarked car, no lights, no nothing. So it just looked like a car is following him. So we're driving around, and all of a sudden, he looks, and then he starts making crazy turns, and it's on. Now he's speeding, now we speeding. We're on the south side, but we're like on side streets. We're not even on busy streets. So it's parallel car, and then just our little car. We're hitting speed bumps. Like, I'm going up on the ceiling. And I was just like, oh, screw this. I put my seatbelt on. Then I was just like, I'm just going to buckle up. He's on the phone or the radio trying to get more cars to where we are. Long story, he ends up turning on this block, and he opened the door, and he just ran out. And the car just hit another car. I knew he couldn't run, so I get out the car, and I just take off running. I ain't got nothing to identify me as a police officer. I got nothing. It's just me. I got on some jeans, I got on a polo, and I got on some J's. I always wore J's. I'm a J guy. So, Jumpman, I was like, I represented in the bureau. So, I got on these, I think I had on the 12s. He hops a fence.
Heavy, too.
Oh, they are. I didn't think I was gonna be running after nobody. So when I had the job, like, I didn't want to look like the police. So I would wear stuff like, I would wear that. I didn't wear like the tactical boots and shoes. Like, I was fresh. I thought I was fresh.
Yeah.
So I pull my, you know what I'm saying, I unholster the weapon, and I'm running, and then he hops the fence, and this was like so bad. I jumped the fence. The athleticism, I hopped the fence. I hurdled that bad boy. Close the distance. He hops another fence. I hop another fence. Then we're running down the alley in this back alley, and I was like, oh, I got him now. This is straightaway. So I closed that distance, and then he hopped another fence, but I was so close to him, and then I drew again. I was like, hey, FBI don't move, show me your hands, and I'm, FBI don't move, put your hands up in the air, turn around. And by that time, another enforcement car had pulled up, and he was like, you gonna cuff him? And I was like, I'm too tired. You cuff him. You cuff him. So we ended up arresting the cat. And then I was just like, bro, what you run for? And one thing I will say that holds true, even though people did something wrong or they violated something, we always treated them with respect. You treat them like a human being. You don't treat them like, you're just another old thug, and you're like, it wasn't none of that. There were so many times where we arrested people, and they were just like, man, you ain't like the regular cops I done been around. Like, y'all, man, you offer me some gum, because it's 6 o'clock in the morning and I ain't brushed my teeth. You offer me some gum. You let me kiss my mom goodbye. You let me say goodbye to my little girl.
Yeah.
You let me listen to what I want on the music, like on the radio. Like, I was like, yo, man, I'm not here to judge you, bro. That ain't my job. We all human. You grew up a different way. Maybe something happened in your life that made you pivot to this route in life. I don't know, but you did it wrong. You'll get judged for it, but that ain't my job. I'm just here to arrest you, but I can still treat you like you're a human being.
Yeah.
And it was cool. For me, I thought it was the coolest thing when someone said it. And I was like, damn, we've taken away your freedom, but you're telling me how cool I am, which leads me to believe that some people, they just do it, it's a power trip, and they do it the wrong way. It's a power trip.
I tell you what, though, could you imagine hopping out the car? Because, my thought of an FBI guy is going to be some cat that been eating some bad food. He don't really train like that. You hop on this Peanut Tillman. Hey. Like, what's the chances that my draw is a Pro Bowler? Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I had a buddy who used to call me Trigger Mike.
Charges.
He used to call me Mike Lowry.
Yeah.
He used to call me Trigger Mike.
Yeah.
It's like, you would wear this out here, but you got this nice belt. I was like, it's the only one I got. Like, I didn't, what I'm saying? I went to work with a Gucci belt versus like a cheaper belt or something.
Well, at least you didn't have on the 6 rings.
Hey.
Jordans.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, guys, you want to talk about a pivot? We talk about football to FBI. I mean, it all works when you're chasing people.